Only yeehaw.
Say shit, I think Annis did the best.
As usual, the bird will not be recapping.
I appreciate how this giant row at the top implies that we're one of those games that has like 9 PCs.
I nominate Penelope because Penelope rolled a 1. Looks like.
Suck it, Bill. But Penelope re-rolled it into a 10. Penelope can't roll ones.
Oh, that's fair.
You know, that is still Penelope. I didn't even.
So I say we make. I didn't do the recap.
Okay. So what happened was we had 3 Zappies, right? And they were sexist as fuck. They only went for the women. And they grabbed Penelope, and they grabbed Diana, and then they grabbed Annis, and they also grabbed Belle. Rude? I think so too. We started blasted, and we fucked their days up, so they're dead Zappies. Good times. And then we decided to
Started blasting.
Then I pulled out my gun.
Exactly. She did pull out her gun. Okay, these are facts. We made it down into this weird like coastal. Hold on, let me go to my notes.
Don't forget about
It's like a
Yes.
huh? Oh, the rock. There was a rock we found as we were floating over to this village. We had to vibe check it.
Everyone tried to vibe check it.
Yeah.
Everyone.
It's just, you know, it's just a rock apparently. And Aiden was like, I'm keeping this rock because apparently it had protections from something from like long, long ago. And Aiden's like, I'm
It was
keeping this
very
for me.
heavy, but it did not sink.
Yes.
It was instructed not to by somebody, I guess, is what Cersei said.
Very old rock.
It was it was near giant ruins that were also kind of laying on the water.
Yeah, and then like, but the inner area of the town felt more advanced, but a very artsy style. There's no people seeing, no lights, but we were also there in, you know, midnight. There was also a bunch of European style buildings, skyscrapers, Scottish castles. The word for word was like a functioning Epcot.
That was when you got to the end.
Oh, that's for the
Yeah.
castle. That's for the sorry, that's in the
later.
last note.
Yeah.
They put it out of order. Okay, so before that, we were going down the river after this village, and we saw, and by we, Enon saw a food truck with a half-orc man who runs it, whose name is a pun to the tooth, al dente. We were like, we're on a mission, we gotta keep going, and that's when we saw the European-style buildings with the skyscrapers and like the Scottish castles, and then in the center of that, the prominent cathedral with the 3 founders of the Grail War on it. So we're like, that's the place, and then we're currently on our way there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That
Notes
is
in order.
pretty fair. Hooray!
Yeah.
Yeah. You also got to take a nap at some point because
Hey yo.
those zappies hurt. Yeah. You got some short rest, good times. Let me remove Tifa from the combat tracker because that was hours ago.
Yeah.
Hooray. And just gonna roll up that clock. Oh, and you've also been going around at a greater speed because of something Diana did.
And it's like it's like Wonder Woman's like plane. It's invisible time.
Yes. Somehow it seems like the boat that you're on became invisible and twice as fast. But you are all not invisible. So you are awkwardly sitting on this thing and trying to navigate an invisible boat that you can't see in the dark.
As you do.
As one does.
Just Grail War things.
Hashtag just Grail War things.
Yeah. But yeah, also you uncovered a little bit more of the map because your boy Anon can see really far away
Yeah.
and even in the dark. And you now know that one, the big body of water is ahead, but two, there are things beyond the body of water that you can't quite make out the details of, but they're there. And it looks like we
Yeah.
had the first Fancy Grounds crash of the night.
Oh no.
No?
Oh, it says you disconnected.
No?
Oh, well,
Oh,
hooray then. Maybe the game is just confused. Want
Maybe
to
it's
believe.
just like preemptively kicking out. I don't know.
I'm
Oh
hoping that
yeah.
it went
Huh.
a little bit lighter now because I went through and I like,
Oh, and there it goes.
yeah, there you go.
Okay.
I went through and I
Well,
unshared all of the maps and pictures that I've shared with you for the last X years that aren't, not necessarily that everything still in the thing is going to come up, but things that seem like they could come up I left on. But like you don't have all the pictures of the kimonos from when you were doing the puzzle with the kimonos way back in Lupin's mansion or any of that stuff anymore. So
how dare you?
rude.
I'm hoping that all of those things are a little bit less strain on you. I also opened up a lot of the maps and just resized them to be less big. Because it turns out when I started downloading maps to use, I wasn't paying attention to how big they were. So I resized a bunch of those too. And that will be a continuing trend because some of those got pretty hefty. So hooray. But yeah, so you looked around at that. We are now finally approaching the equivalent of sunrise in this place.
Oh,
Um,
joys.
yeah, sunrise in this place is more a matter of like hitting golden hour, but not having like the direct sun in your eyes because, like everything else in this place, there's a weird watery surface across the sky that diffuses the light. So, in its own weird way, it gets bright faster, but less intense. So, the
Mm.
sky kind of has this orangish glow to it with little purples in the corners like a sunset. So, corners of the sky being, an impossible term, but you understand
Yeah.
what I mean. So yeah, you can start to see,
Yeah.
and now the people who can't see in the dark can also see the city coming up.
Congratulations.
You did. And as you get closer to it, you notice that the river that you're on actually seems to go under the city rather than to one side or the other. It seems that
Oh.
parts of the city were built up above the river, and the river can flow under it. There are large sluice gates and whatnot present to presumably control whether or not people are allowed to continue beyond this and out to the sea. But right now, you can see in the distance that they are opening up as it has become daytime. So, hooray. I'm going to move the little boat forward if I can. See what nonsense it does because it never goes in a straight line on the little baby map.
I have the map pulled up, but I don't see anything.
It's probably the usual thing of making it so that Merlin exists. 1 second.
Dang it, Merlin.
I don't know why it keeps forgetting that. Maybe if I just permanently add him to the party, it'll stop doing that. I don't know. So let's just.
There we go.
You should be able to see now.
Yep.
Move my little boat
I
token.
didn't forget about Al Dente. I just forgot that you added a giant portrait of him to the map.
I am trying to make it a little bit easier to remember what was in what squares. I figure I did the same thing with the dinosaurs. As you see other landmarks and whatnot, like I'll probably add some weird like ruined structure to that water later, but since it's the only one, I wasn't really as much concerned about it. But
Yeah.
I kind of want to break this up a little bit because otherwise it gets very samey. And there are things in these places.
Yeah.
So cool. So there you are. Yep. As you're coming up on it, you can in fact see the giant cathedral ahead of you. I'm gonna get you a picture of it.
Oh, we can see it in color and not in black and white, like when it
Yeah.
was dark. Cool. If I know anything about Catholics, it's that they go off with the stained glass. So I'm sure it's
Facts.
very powerful.
They do.
What?
They nuts with that things.
I mean, there are times where I'm like, maybe I should get stained glass for my home. But
Stained glass is baller though.
but what would
They
I
make
want?
well, they make it's like a film that you can put over windows
Yeah.
that will kind of make it faux stained glass.
Yeah.
It's a very cool effect, I think.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like at various points I'm like, it would be kind of neat to try to slip under like an HOA, maybe having an issue with it, get like just the Doctor Strange symbol or a command
Um,
seal or something
Oh,
nerdy, but
that'd be
only
cool.
people who are into that would get it.
heh.
Because I feel like if I put like a giant command seal on like a stained glass window in front of my house, like no one would understand it. They just think it's weird geometry. But anyone
That's
visiting
fair.
would be like, "Oh, that's pretty cool," or "Why did you pick that one?" And then it becomes a nerd fight.
Yep.
Because I don't actually know who has my favorite command seal. I would have to look over them all again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, loading them maps. I got to clean out my map folder so that I can scroll less.
Okay, so we're transitioning from the Big Dreams End map to a new map
Yep.
that is presumably the city. Cool.
I'm gonna specifically give you a map of the church because you're gonna be able to see it.
Okay.
I'm not going to be sharing a map of the city because, as described, it's a big patchwork mess. And I'm worried that if I actually give you a map of it, it's going to turn into, let's go check out the Haunted Castle District. Let's go check out the Venice District. Let's go check out whatever that
Yeah.
weird Roman thing is. And at some point, I want you to play the game, so I'm afraid of doing that. Because I know that's what I would do if I was the player. I'd be like, oh, look, that place over there looks like it's got giant Indian architecture. Let's go check that out. And then out of nowhere, there's like a million more NPCs than we were planning on doing. So, because it would happen.
Gotta collect them all.
All right.
I mean, you say that like we're not going to insist on going to the Haunted Castle District now that you've mentioned it.
And you can do that, but it's easier for me to mention a few than to give you
No,
a giant map of it.
true.
Also, this
And
leaves us some
presumably,
flexibility for later if you're like, well, how close are these things? I'm like, X minutes.
we're docking and going to the church first anyway.
That's what I
Yeah.
assumed, which is why I'm keying up that one first. But if you decide that there's
Yeah.
other things you want to do before that, you're welcome to.
Not really.
Oh, Annis is going to turn to Freddie and be like, "Dumb question. You work for the church, so you can enter churches, correct?"
I'm not actually a vampire. You know that, right?
Well, I mean, you this kind of halfway. I didn't know if it would be like a halfway thing where you're halfway okay
Like
and halfway
half
not.
of me walks in and the other half waits outside.
Or maybe you're just taking, you're just like poisoned, or just,
No, it doesn't work that way. Churches are not actually very good at stopping it, which is why they send executors out to do fighting.
Okay. So I said it was a dumb question.
No, you're good. It's just that's a worthwhile thing to mention. No, I'm very much allowed in, and there won't be any negative things. Now that said, when it comes to churches, like obviously there's generally speaking a whole lot of holy going on in there. So if any of your friends can't handle that, that would be something for them to have to figure out. But I don't get the impression that that'll be an issue.
I
Um,
don't, I don't think anyone. I don't know. Maybe Penelope.
What? What about me?
Never mind.
Are you sure?
Well, you did church things at some point.
Yeah?
In your past, so okay, you're cool.
Yeah?
Yeah, so you can enter churches. We know that for a fact.
Why wouldn't I be allowed to enter? What are you implying, Annis?
Well, I don't know if you're tenure with the church ended on bad terms?
I didn't have a tenure with the church. I impersonated a church personnel.
Freddy covers his ears. I don't hear that.
You don't.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm
I-
sure it was for a music video, and it's not a thing that I want to be
Yes.
questioned about later.
Yes, that is absolutely. It was It was for.
Janice just has a hand over her face, like trying to avoid. Okay.
It was a music video. Yep. Definitely that. Don't think too hard about it. Oh, jeez. Okay, is it bad that I see tree in front of big castle-like building and I'm immediately like,
War
no!
flashbacks.
Oh no.
No.
So
Yeah. How
weird.
does the tree look? Can we
So-
tell what color is the tree?
So what I'm going to tell you is that the way that you're coming up to it, you're actually coming up behind the church. The church is facing the town, but the back of the church is facing upriver where you are. So you're going to pass under it to get to the area that's at the south of this map. So after you pass under it, and you get out and you walk up and whatnot, you see like it's just a normal looking tree. Like it's less green than the other ones around it. There's some birds on it, but doesn't have like horrifying red or anything to it. Just a tree.
Nice.
That's Annis, can't you talk to plants?
I mean, I
Can
can,
you-
but did I?
Can't you understand how plants feel or whatever?
Well,
Isn't that what druids?
yes, sometimes. I don't know that I. Oh, yes, I did. Never mind. Yes, I can talk to plants.
I was joking. Don't actually
Should
talk
we?
to this tree.
Should I talk to this tree?
Don't
It
talk
might.
to the tree.
It might have some valuable
You
insight.
know who has more valuable insight? The people inside this building.
I mean, perhaps.
If you want to talk to the tree, I'm not going to stop you, but I was fully joking about talking to the tree.
Okay.
I
We
mean,
might
trees live longer than people.
Ugh.
Can still
So
talk to.
I've turned on the grid just so that you get a sense of scale. I'm gonna turn it off because it's like annoying to look at, but like this place is big.
Yeah.
So
That is weird shape.
yep. I would drag you on there, but instead I'm going to describe what's going on first, and then you can decide if you want to do anything beyond go in the doors, in which case I won't make you walk up a map and go in the doors. So yeah, there's a massive church. There are statues in front of it. The statues, contrary to the art here, there are actually statues depicting all 7 of the servant classes spread throughout the area. They are very much the generic chess piece ones that you see across all of Fate as the shorthand for these things. And the window, like the stained glass window immediately above the main entrance, is a big old cup on it. And so it seems like the 3 founders are at the back of the main cathedral, which would be why you saw them when you were coming in via the north, or I guess the east in this map, northeast. Relative concept of dimensions here, given you're not really on Earth in the normal sense. But yeah, so like you got that going on here. Outside of the place, there are people walking about. People are going about their morning routines. You see, after you've like docked your boat. First of all, I'm going to ask this question: like, is anyone staying with the boat, or is everybody coming in?
I don't want to go in. But at the same time, Aiden does like he was gonna let Annis know that he's actually really anxious because the last time he was truthful to the church and like even was like, "Hey, this is who I am." Their immediate response was like, "You're a filthy liar and you're a fae and fuck you." And now he's a master. They don't know that yet. They don't know that at all.
Well, Penelope is definitely going inside because she wanted to go here in the first place.
Yeah. I know. He wants to go in.
Yeah, I mean, you should
I
go
mean,
in anyway.
as a master, he probably should go in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like He's just gonna warn them.
Not that
He's like,
like
y'all,
I'm
you
gonna
just.
push you to do anything you don't want to do, but like he would understand that it's expected that he would be going in
Oh
at some
yeah.
point to meet with the
He's
person
not
running the
gonna
war.
let them know right now for sure. Like he's gonna gauge the reaction to him again. But he's letting, like, I guess Anis and then Penelope too, because they don't have anything against the two of them as far as he can tell.
So, in case this helps you with your decision, like I said, there are people walking around going about their morning routines.
Man.
People is not limited to humans. There are walking very openly elves, dwarves, gnomes, all sorts of phantasmal species, like species that have gone into decline in the main world seem to be walking pretty freely around here. You see half elves, you see half orcs. There's actually a half orc with a hot dog cart, which is a different one from the guy from before. Seems to be setting up for the early morning hot dog crowd. Um, you've got uh, some phantasmal species that only Aiden has seen before, and very briefly the others visiting his village. Like there are turtles here, there are like owlin, there are rabbit people that none of you have seen before, but they blatantly look like rabbits. Like there are a variety of them, and no one's batting an eye. Like no one is looking at Aiden like he's especially important, even though he's a big half horseman. Um,
It's more like the you're a liar, but yeah, okay, that puts him at ease.
so you probably get the impression that at the very least, if the church is being stuffy about phantasmals, they are not in a place that is going to be receptive to that, and they will
That's
probably be a
fair.
little more chill than usual. Also, the
Yeah,
people
like
that you see, the humans, are wearing a wide variety of clothing from different time periods, different parts of the world. Um, some of it is Abercrombie, some of it is surf wear in the sense of things that surfs wear versus things that surfers wear. Like it's all going on all the time. This place is a complete mishmash of human history, past and present. You don't see anything from the future, but you would not be surprised if it showed up somehow.
Oh, cool. Advanced food trucks.
if anyone is not interested in going inside, we don't blame you. Someone should probably stay to watch the boat.
Looking around,
Um,
uh, at this point, uh, Johnny pipes up. Do you think they're gonna be okay with points at horns?
um, I mean, even if they're not, they kind of have to be at this point.
That's fair.
It's like there's all kinds of people wandering around out here. Um, but I mean, if you're not comfortable, you don't have to go. I'm not gonna make you go.
No, I'm comfortable going. I just thought I'd ask first on account of my
Yeah,
experiences with churches have been special.
yeah, yeah. Um,
Okay, fine.
I,
Buck just sort of sits down. I'll watch the boat.
Thank you.
I mean, Buck, if you want, I can sit with you. I don't really have any need to go in there.
Yeah, that works. You want me to get you a hot dog or something?
Nah. You can eat. I really don't want to eat anything from a street cart.
Oh, is it too bougie or not bougie enough?
Well, what has been your prior experience with us getting food, Buck?
Um, I seem to recall that I had a pretty good meal, and you are offended by the concept of a Waffle House.
I mean, who isn't?
I mean, there's no better place to go to test your strength.
You have questionable taste. Anyway,
There's one right over
anyway,
there if you really miss it that much. And he points across the water, and there is a Waffle House.
Of course there is.
Aiden's like,
no, I'm good. I'm good. let's
The W
find.
light does not work.
So it's the Awful House.
Awful
I
House.
Yep.
love that. I'm good. I will get something to eat later. But I will sit at the boat with you.
All right. Well, sounds like we're on boat duty. So
Woohoo.
everyone have fun meeting your friend, the hot one. Well, a lot of your friends are hot. Anyway, I'm just gonna watch the boat now. Bye. And then he sits down.
Ennis is just staring at the Waffle House.
The Waffle House looks suspiciously like a Waffle House.
I don't.
Uh,
Do they have
there are
those
people
in?
inside of various species.
Has Ennis ever been into a waffle?
Probably
Is it a
not.
Waffle House or is it a Waffle Home? Oh no.
Oh no, he's still
I'm still
there.
here. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just letting you enjoy the deep thoughts about Waffle Home.
Mm.
Anyway.
So you're gonna head in?
On that note,
Yay.
I'm going in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Time to go
Let's go
in.
All right. Walking up, you are approaching the big doors at the front. You notice that the big doors are in fact open so that you can see right inside before going in. You go by the big tree. There are birds on it. Um, let's see, Annis, your passive perception is high enough, and certainly some of the others of you as well. You notice that the little birds on the tree have little masks on them.
Oh, it's
Oh.
a Hemlock.
I'll point them out to Hemlock.
Hemlock takes a look at them. He floats up next to them and he sits on the branch, and the branch leans a little bit. Hemlock is bigger than they are.
Oh yeah. Are they little like songbird sized in a soy?
They're Nasoy that do not have a heavy cake diet.
Yeah.
He is much
That'll
better
do
fed
it.
than they are.
Oh.
But they're all sort of like chirping at each other. They're hopping around a bit. They seem to be inspecting his mask, nodding, and then one of them, Nasoy, pulls out a notepad and uses its little bird feet to make notes of the design of it and sketching it a little bit, and he just sort of sits there and poses.
You have fun up there, buddy.
He nods at
Play
you.
safe. Play nice.
Oh, look at him. He's making friends.
You get the impression this might be the first time he's seen a Nasoy in a very long time.
Hmm.
But yeah, so that
Probably
happens.
need to put him on a diet, but I don't think he would.
He's perfect as he is.
Okay.
He's perfectly round. Like an orb. He's a borb.
Oh.
All right, I'm going inside.
Yeah, we'll leave Hemlock with his new friends and go inside.
Okay, so like I said, walking inside, this one I will add some tokens to since you'll get a chance to walk around, and I will add tokens for the things that you find in there as well as you see them because it's huge.
Okay, so new map.
New map. Hopefully it does not crush anyone loading. It is very big though. This is at 25% of its original size.
Lord.
The original one was more than 20 megabytes.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to go through and do some trimming.
Good
Really,
grief, that is huge.
they're nice maps. But yeah,
Really big.
yeah.
Whew.
Ooh.
I miss when you could just click and drag.
I don't know why they broke that and haven't fixed it yet. It's
I
only
can.
on maps. It's not on images.
No. The middle button for me still works as like the click and pull.
Yeah.
The mouse wheel, yeah.
Which is nice, but like just being able to resize the window itself is sorely missing.
Oh yeah.
Um, so anyway, I'm gonna drag some tokens on there now so that you can wander around if you want to.
It's a
So
big ass cathedral. Look at all this running room.
there's a lot of running room in there.
Ooh.
So let's just drag some of you down here. So boop.
It's Johnny. It's Derek.
Oh, another thing, as you were approaching it, I should have said this before. Inon and Bell both decide that they're going to sit outside and watch the Nisoi.
That's what I thought. I
Okay.
thought they'd stay out.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
just
I
gonna hang
wasn't
out
sure
out
what.
there and watch the Nisoi. Should have said that before.
Oh, did Belle not want to come in with us?
It seems like she's going to keep an eye on Hemlock.
Okay. Is your servant around at all? Like, I still haven't seen them.
Yeah, around.
Just invisible?
Yeah,
When are you gonna let us meet them?
eventually.
Okay. Ugh.
All right, so yeah, there's the lot of you for scale.
Ooh.
This place is very large.
It is.
And now I'm gonna drag some people in there for you to see. Sort of
Woo!
hanging out. So let's grab some friends. Wait, if I drag you, is it gonna make all your combat stats tell the combat tracker? Probably.
Are we gonna fight nuns?
Yeah!
Ooh.
Not aiming to. I mean, you can, I guess, but
Fate Dreams End. We're fighting nuns now.
as you do. All right, well, we'll test with one and see what the game does.
I think that's a Lucretia.
Yeah, it did not add her to the combat tracker. Okay, cool.
Yep, that's a Lucretia.
Yep, as
She's
long
so
as I'm
tiny.
dragging them directly on, it doesn't make you fight them, which is good because I really didn't want to do that. She's hanging out up there, and now I'm gonna grab some more friends, possibly in scare quotes.
You know, friends.
Friends and
Friend.
fiends are just one letter off from each other.
Cause you're my best fiend.
Don't add the pen, add the. Ugh. Come on, you can do better than that. Add their picture. Only I can see the pens. That's not helping. Boink.
Ooh. Oh, Laeticia!
And
Yes.
That bitch. What?
This isn't Sister Sylvia, right? This is
That's-
the
That was a shit.
charity song.
Yeah, charity song.
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, and then two random
Oh.
nuns just hanging out. Cool.
Well, someone wanted to throw hands, so I guess I had to add them to the screen.
I do not want to fight nuns, for the record.
Why would you say that out loud?
That's out of character. I know I said it in character, but it's out of character.
Just walking in the door. I don't want to find anyone. But
Oh wow, I forgot about this one. I've got an NPC in here that I added in like 2018.
Oh yeah, shit.
Oh wow, he very blue.
Oh, not
I
one of
think
those.
Oh.
Die.
No, like the one that I just found is like before I was making tokens for them. This is not a character that's ever going to exist. I just forgot I made them. Um,
Oh,
weird.
that was like my archetype for learning how to make black keys work. So they were completely a
oh.
placeholder. And there we go. So yeah, there's some other people wandering around, but you get the idea. It's not a completely empty building. There's various church people around.
Oh,
Um,
there's Sister Sylvia.
yep, Sister Sylvia is way up there, just
Hmm.
hanging out by herself.
What a nerd. Oh,
You're on okay terms with her.
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's helped her out.
It's true. So yeah, you got a room in here. So describing this a little more, you could, like I said before, there are the big stained glass windows behind the area, specifically the part pointing out to the from this map, the north, are what you saw the reverse of as you were coming in. You notice that the way that it's situated, it seems like when the sun comes up from behind you and the equivalent of the east, first thing in the morning, it comes in off of there and then casts the light down across this big room with the picture of Justice and the other two founders and the big old cup casting down. Of course, right now, the way the light is coming in, it is pointing down on Lucretia, who is currently standing on top of a big empty platform. And she seems to have stood up when she saw the lot of you coming in because you are not a subtle bunch.
I mean,
And
that's fair.
she nods and waits for you to come on up.
Cool.
And if you would like to
Ooh.
spare yourselves the trouble, I can drag you up there
Yes,
Yep.
please.
because you have a lot of characters now, and I
Yep.
assume you
Unless
don't.
we are in any way
Drag
harangued.
myself.
No
Unless
one
we are
is.
harangued by any of the church people, Annis will just
Yeah.
file in behind Penelope and Johnny.
Yay.
I don't know. Do I spot
Yeah.
anything? Do I spot anything cool or weird on my way?
Just a little.
What are you looking for?
Just I don't know. Anything that looks interesting or out of place.
Oh yeah, go for it. You can do a just for looking around. You can do an investigation perception check. It's up to you.
I'll do
Like this is not an
investigation.
environment where they're gonna stop you from like looking at and
Ah,
touching stuff. So
yeah, 15.
okay. One thing that you notice just from paying attention to your environment is that the um the walls, the ground, the pillars, all of it made out of stone. Um, the glass being, stained glass, but almost everything else is made of some form of stone, and you see no instances looking around where people have like put things together through like nails or anything like that. Based on what you've seen her do in the past, you get the impression that Lucretia just made this place,
Ah,
Damn. Way to go.
and she had enough time to like smooth it out rather than it just being a big old pillar. So it is a single giant stone thing over the water. Can't miss it.
Hmm.
Other than that, like yeah, there's a bunch of people here. Obviously, the various church people see a lot of you walk in, and like they look over, but no one's saying anything weird. Laeticia sees a lot of you and smiles politely, and Charity sees a lot of you and nods
hmm.
more professionally than the last time you saw her. Um, and Charity recognizes you from. She was probably the first person to notice you, even before Lucretia. You get the impression that she's kind of on guard duty.
Ah.
And so she was watching the door when you first appeared in it. Um, Not that anyone else seems to be like super nervous. It seems to just be one of her traits.
Mm.
And yeah, Sister Sylvia sees a bunch of you, and she recognizes Annis and Penelope and Johnny and Derek.
Oh, that's
And
true.
and she smiles politely. Um, she also, you see her taking what appears to be a some kind of earpiece out of her ear and tucking it away.
Hmm. Annis will politely wave over at her.
Uh, she nods her head back politely. She doesn't seem to want to get in the way of you meeting with Lucretia, but she's not leaving the room or anything. So cool. You're there. She's up on a big elevated platform type thing.
All right. Before she even, yeah, actually, yeah, no. Penelope is just gonna start walking up there.
All right.
Yeah, Annis will follow.
I'm just going to turn off the controlled movement thing because there's no line of sight on this map anyway. So feel free to just move. Seems less
Yeah.
annoying.
Boop.
I am not going to try to build line of sight around this place. It's too big. So just have
Eden
fun.
does a nod to them.
Enough that you walk on walls anyway that I don't really care.
Hee.
Also, Derek can walk on walls without items now.
Oh,
Woo!
Well, run on walls
yay!
without items. That's an upgrade, I guess.
Let's
Yeah.
find my notes.
Oof. Johnny's hanging out over here. Uh, Freddy is not walking up on there, but he's kind of over on this side because he knows these people. Hooray!
Yeah.
He's met them.
Nothing worse than running into coworkers on your vacation.
Yeah.
God.
Look, he knows them from two places now.
Oh,
So,
that's a good point. Oh no. Nothing worse than running into your coworkers and also your secret coworkers
yeah,
on vacation.
God.
fun times. So yeah, Lucretia smiles at a lot of you. Welcome to Dream's End, everyone. As you can tell, everything here is extra.
Yeah, but it looks good.
Thank you. It seems like the best approach when you're competing with ancient monuments and modern skyscrapers to at least stand out. I had a feeling at least some of the masters would be coming in by water, so this seemed like as good a place to set up as any.
Yeah, true. Um, how have you been?
It's a bit busy, but not too surprising. Yeah, actually, are you all hungry? You look like you've been up all night. Would you like some food? I can have some pulled in for you.
We have, and yes.
Yeah.
Okay. She looks over at one of the nuns nearby, and she does that thing that you kind of recognize when she sends people messages with her brain. And the nun looks disturbed, but then goes about their business. They'll be back soon, with food for everyone. I trust that you're all okay with salads.
Yes.
It'll work.
Excellent. So I trust everyone made it here okay. So far it seems we're only down one master, so it's promising.
Yeah, about that. Uh, did you hear about what Clock Tower pulled?
I've heard bits and pieces. I'm sure you understand that news gets a short distance down here, but um, based on the fact that the check-ins have already been disrupted before the Grail War has even begun, I've pieced together a little bit. Uh, it would seem that uh, the steps necessary to do the Grail War have not been affected. So someone is stepping into a master seat, but I've not met them yet. So
How many people have you met so far that are participating?
At this point, those present here will make for 6 of the 7. So
Huh.
the only one who is not present is the one who is not currently known to me.
Hmm.
And I guess you can't really tell us much about who the others are, could you?
I
Well,
am
we know who one is.
I mean, we know who. Yeah.
I am not at liberty to tell you anything that could help you in any perceived way by the Grail. That said, I really hope you enjoy your salad.
Oh, okay.
Her behavior kind of gives Penelope a familiar vibe from the past whenever
Yeah.
Lucretia's leaning in a little hard on something that doesn't seem important.
Yeah.
So the only master unaccounted for by you is the one that stole her command seal.
That is the current state of things. As far as I can tell, the ritual has not been disrupted, so apparently she fulfilled her requirement by receiving the seals enough for the Grail to move forward.
Hmm.
But I do not know who will be replacing her. I don't even know if they will be checking in properly. Uh, while it is not a requirement, it is generally encouraged to go over the rules of the war and to uphold tradition per the Grail. Obviously, in previous Grail Wars, there have been times where masters did not check in. My understanding is that in the Fourth Holy Grail War, one of the masters decided to kidnap and murder a bunch of children instead. So
Ooh.
that did not go over well and was dealt with.
No.
This is a good opportunity to remind everyone that while this is not a city in the traditional sense of the Holy Grail Wars fought in Fuyuki, nonetheless, the objective is to minimize civilian casualties and disruption as the ritual moves forward. And this city and the people of this world are no exception to that. So while we are not necessarily concerned about secrecy here, we would still like to minimize the disruption to this place because, for obvious reasons, everything here is special. This world is
Yeah.
built of things that have been lost from the one above. And while its existence is in and of itself a miracle, let's just say it would be very tragic if servants were to unleash noble phantasms and destroy what might actually be the final tomes of the Library of Alexandria in the Crossfire.
Yeah.
We are guests here and we will behave as appropriately as we can.
Yeah. Um. So of how much of the land have you gotten to see?
Um,
Like, I know you've been down here back and forth for a while, but
I've had relatively few opportunities to explore properly, but I do know that broad strokes, the Land of Dreams End is shaped like a crescent moon with a number of islands within the enclosed circle of the moon spreading outward. In terms of climate, uh, there's a wide assortment of terrain here. Like this place is very much a patchwork compilation of different places and times lost to the world above. The large city that you're in right now is called Residuum, and per that name, it is built of things that were left over when something occurred above on the normal world. Well, normal is a bit of a prejudiced term, but I think you know what I mean.
Yeah.
If something is lost to a natural disaster above, there's a chance that just before it is fully destroyed, it will be brought here in the form of a storm. And the people who run this city, and have been doing so for a very long time, will pay handsome amounts to have any city-worthy structures that end up in this world brought here through whatever means are appropriate. They are actually very talented mages who are capable of reshaping the world around them to an extent. They they will send out their own followers to an area. They will establish a bounded field to secure the place, and then they will transport it here. So while the continent is very large, you may find holes in places where something was dropped by a storm and then transported here.
Huh.
You may also find things that for various reasons were not transported here, whether they did not meet the interests of the people running the city, or they were otherwise resilient in the face of the transportation magecraft used. So the terrain is a bit confusing. The random assortment of things dropped throughout history also doesn't help. Um, but it's certainly interesting. Um, I do know that there are a lot of very dangerous things here. Um, rumor has it that there is, in fact, a dragon with a castle resting on its back that
Oh?
makes the rounds. Um, to say the least, there are other gargantuan creatures wandering about in a world that can support them, unlike the worlds above. I would recommend avoiding them wherever possible. But it is a big and fantastical place filled with dreams and nightmares.
Um, so, where was the last place this castle was seen? The one on the dragon's back.
Uh, that was last seen, to me at least, to the people that I have on the lookout. I've sent people out to try to find and direct the various masters here. And my understanding is that one of the masters, whom you already know, the butcher, saw this dragon
I've been
shortly
chasing it.
after his check-in and headed off upriver in the direction of the mountains. I sincerely doubt he could keep up with it, but he seemed to be very excited.
That tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that gives us a direction.
Yeah. I want to find that castle with the dragon, but not for the same reasons that, you know,
I'd
but
like
face he wants to go find it.
Listen, two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does appear that he is seeking a dragon, as he's not been very subtle about, and it
Yeah.
is a very large one. Not sure that would serve his purposes, but he seems very excited by this prospect, and that may be where he and his servant have gone. I
Yeah,
don't feel like I'm breaking any rules by telling you this,
right.
because you did not ask about it.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah,
You're
I did
starting to get a
that.
sense that she's learning what she can and can't do.
Yeah.
Ah.
Hmm. Um.
Are there any maps?
There are tentative maps, but they are fairly few. They're because getting perspective would require one to travel the land or to fly to great heights. Uh, it's more descriptive than literal and topographical, but as you may have noticed, because of the watery sky we have here, it's not actually as tall as the sky seems like it would be. It is, in fact, if you were to go to the tallest mountains in the area, you might actually come into contact with that water, which I would recommend against. It is incredibly potent to the point of being potentially poisonous to
Oh, so the
most
sky is
living creatures.
poison. Love it. Great.
Ah,
It is a very dense cloud of a very specific manifestation of mana. If
Oh boy.
I had to guess, I would say that that texture is what allows this place to continue existing. Because outside of this, the world has moved on. But here, it's almost like you are inside of a bubble where things are allowed to work differently.
Hmm.
To phrase it another way, it feels like how I imagine it would feel to be inside of a marble phantasm that is not my own, or even a reality marble belonging to someone much bigger than anyone I've encountered. The world
Right.
is different here, but that seems to be the threshold of how different it can be.
Okay. Um. She's gonna look at Annis and Iden and be like, So since you two are, and she's like
Hmm.
subtly gesturing at her hand. Since you two are doing things and I'm not, I need to ask Lucretia something that I can't ask around you guys.
Oh,
Um, but I'm going to step off of this platform and let you guys talk to her while I think about what I want to say.
noted.
And gonna like walk over, kind of over where Johnny is, and then she's just gonna like look at Lucretia and just like point to her forehead or like to the temples or to her temples, and I'm going to message you the thing separately.
Okay. She
Yeah.
seems to understand what you're doing.
Yeah. Okay.
So Lucretia nods and she turns to Annis and Iden.
we'll
So
step forward.
are you ready for your orientation, or would you like to open with questions?
Why don't you start?
Yeah.
So, as I'm sure you're all aware, the Holy Grail War will be beginning at what passes for sunset here. Um, while you will not be able to see the moon clearly on nights of full moon here, it will be brighter than usual. And once the full moon reaches the center of the sky, you will observe briefly, like a reverse eclipse. The world will be bright as day for a moment, and that will be the signifier that the Grail War has begun. Once the Grail War begins, 7 masters with 7 servants will be drawn together to wage war, as the servants will attempt to destroy one another. And once 6 of the servants are defeated, the Holy Grail will manifest. Technically, it will begin sooner than that, but manifesting properly, which is our goal here to complete the ritual, will require the 6 servants to be defeated, and the remaining master and servant will then be able to access the Grail and give it their wish. And the Grail will do its best to use the mana that is accumulated and, if necessary, draw more, hence the danger, to fulfill that wish. And the master will get a wish, and the servant will get a wish. And I trust, based on so many conversations we've had in the past, that both of you understand that asking for a wish that is too big, it could be very disastrous, as the brilliant minds that put together this ritual did not put a limit on what you can ask for, only how to go about winning the right to ask. So it is important that you understand that the easiest way to defeat a servant is to kill its master, so that the servant no longer receives additional mana. And once the servant is left alone, they will very rapidly fall apart under the weight of their own existence without a source of mana or a master anchoring them to this world. So, in the event that a master is killed, or otherwise uses all of their command seals, at which point they will no longer be a master, then the servant has the opportunity to enter a contract with another master who still has command seals, which means that if your servant is destroyed, but you still have command seals, and you can avoid the other masters for your safety, and another master is destroyed and their servant is available, you can potentially strike a contract with their servant, assuming you can come to terms with one another, at which point you would become their new master and you would be in the Grail War again. Now, again, once all 3 of your command seals are used up, you are no longer a master. If you lose your hand, then you will have a difficult time convincing the Grail that you are a master. So I would recommend avoiding freak motorcycle accidents or other such horrific fates. I would also recommend you think long and hard about how you would use your command seals, because you will want at least one at the very end of this process to keep you qualified as a master, and if necessary, to give a final command to your servant should your servant, for whatever reason, decide to pursue an objective with their wish that is dangerous to the world as a whole. You should know what your servant's wishes are based on their summonings, but again, that is your final failsafe. As the overseer of this Holy Grail War, I have the ability to offer you sanctuary here in the event that you lose your servant, and whether or not you have command spells left, you may come here and we will keep you safe from the other masters. It will be up to you to get here, but we will offer you sanctuary. Likewise, this area is off limits to servants themselves. That is part of how we keep you safe. So your servants are not allowed to enter, And if any servant enters this place, I will, by virtue of hosting the ruler overseeing this Grail War, turn control over to that heroic spirit who is absolutely capable of stopping any and all servants in this war, if necessary. So, rest assured, if you decide that you no longer wish to participate, you no longer wish to be a master, or you are no longer a master for one reason or another, you should be safe if you come here. Finally, I want to emphasize to you that as masters in the Holy Grail War, you have an opportunity to influence the world in ways that are quite possibly impossible. And I would ask of you, you do not have to do so right here, but before you leave, I would appreciate it if you would individually come to me in a room of complete privacy and share with me your wish and your servant's wish so that we can evaluate what dangers may be present and, if necessary, help you find the way to word and articulate your wish to minimize a monkey's paw situation. We cannot stop you from making the choices that you wish to make, but we would absolutely try to avoid any accidental phrasing that would put us back in the situation with no opportunity to recover. So I'm happy to help you with that. I'm happy to call in your lawyer if necessary to get the wording right. We'll be very careful, but that is a service that we provide. Uh, oh, and it should go without saying, but the Holy Church are obviously here to assist with the duties of overseeing this Grail War. While they may seem like they're here more as fulfilling a technicality, they are nonetheless stakeholders in this going as smoothly as possible, and they will also observe that when the Holy Grail manifests, it is not the cup that captured the blood of Jesus Christ, and then they can move about their day. They are very adamant about confirming anything called a Holy Grail is not that Holy Grail, and I would appreciate your patience with them, as they also are very unlikely to expect it, but this is their duty, and we will do our best to, again, follow the rules of hospitality. They are also guests here. They have agreed to forego their usual treatment of dead apostles and phantasmal species for the duration of the time here. So please be polite and treat them as guests, and they will offer you the same courtesy as I have instructed them to. And more importantly to them, their authority figures have instructed them to. So, having shared all of that, I am happy to answer any questions that you have that the ruler residing in my head will allow.
Did
I don't know
Anna
why I would.
Yeah, I was saying, I'm not a master. Don't look at me.
So, the situation with the missing hand with the command spells. So, if someone's hand is taken off, obviously they are no longer a master, but are the command spells on that hand then able to be transferred to someone else so they can use them? Is that how that works?
That is not how that is supposed to work, but
Hmm.
I suspect that, like other forms of magecraft, if someone is capable of taking a hand or another body part and connecting it to their own magic circuits and convincing the Grail that they are that master, as the Grail can obviously be hacked. She holds her hands up, gesturing at the entire world around her, almost like a ridiculous character.
Mhm.
Then I presume someone has found a way to convince the Holy Grail that they are, in fact, the master that was assigned, and accordingly, they now are presumably in possession of a servant or the ability to summon a servant using her hand. I would assume that anyone who knows how to do that may also know how to do that with anyone else, but compatibility is fickle. So while I don't know who possibly could have done this, I know that whoever they are, they know either a lot about how command seals work, or how the Holy Grail works, or how magic circuits work, or specifically about the magecraft of the now deceased.
Hmm. A lot to process, but typically, if someone takes someone else's hand off, they can't just slurp up their command seals.
That is not generally how that would work. We admittedly don't have a lot of information to go by on the limited number of Holy Grail Wars, but my understanding is that is not how that works. In fact, one opportunity for you that I am allowed by the Holy Grail, at least so far, she holds up her right arm and she pulls back a black glove that's on it. And you can see along her arm are a number of additional command seals. The Grail has been so generous as to provide me with additional command seals for the purposes of facilitating this Holy Grail War. And should any master surrender their role as a master, I will take their seals from them to firmly release them from the obligations of this event. Likewise, if a master were to bring me the hand of a master with command seals in it, that is something that I can recover. And per the nature of my previous assignment, I could then redistribute them accordingly. I cannot create new servants, I cannot create new masters, but were any masters to recover the stolen hand and bring it to me with at least one command spell intact, I would be able to reclaim it and then designate a new replacement master for that servant as appropriate, as whoever broke the rules and jeopardized this entire event by attacking one of the 3 necessary masters early does not have the favor of the Holy Grail. So, should you come across someone who has a hand that they are using somehow and you are able to recover it and bring it here, then you will be rewarded accordingly.
And then, so is this something I'm about to ask a question?
Yeah.
If it's something that I would have already known based on just vibes or something I failed to read, then this isn't Annis asking. But basically, the question I'm going to ask is, can a master be like charmed or compelled or mind controlled to use their command seal?
Got it. Yeah. So, what you would know from the rules and the actual ritual that you received from the Ironsburns a long time ago is that masters cannot be compelled to use command seals through any means.
Okay.
That the Grail prevents it from happening. So, like, you can't just dominate person or control mind or whatever spell or equivalent is out there. You can't make someone
Glad
use
you
all
asked
of their
that.
command seals. However, you can maneuver someone into a situation where it feels like they have no good options.
Yeah, like in Fate Zero with
Right.
Anus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can absolutely put people in a position where things are bad, but they ultimately have to make the choice to use the command seal.
Mm-hmm.
So you would know that. You don't have to ask her that. That was part of the rules. It turns out this was something that they encountered in one of the earlier Grail Wars that they made rules against. So the Grail now protects that, because otherwise the entire thing can be immediately jeopardized by one mind mage who gets lucky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Really glad you asked that. So, did Annis have any more questions?
I can't think of any at the moment, but more may pop up. Did you have any questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I didn't interrupt you.
Go for it.
I didn't. It's kind of like, uh, look, I've kind of, points over to Annis and like hand gestures to friends and everything, and I pretty sure you know too. I don't want to kill masters. Now, there is an exception. It's not because of the Grail War, so I'm not counting it. Butcher's own separate situation. If, say servants were taken care of, and this is the safe haven, if I knock out the master afterwards and bring them to you, can you keep them from leaving for their own safety? Because my concern is if they go back out there, they will get harmed.
We cannot keep someone here against their will. Well, we could, but we won't. We are not looking to intern anyone. We are offering sanctuary, but if someone were to be brought here unconscious or came here and changed their mind and decided to leave, we would not stop them.
Would there be, I don't know, say like one of those horse prisons I can put them in temporarily, even though it's not. The goal is to make sure they're fine.
If your
I
objective is to defeat a master without killing them, then that is well within your rights. If you are to separate their command seals from them, be it by taking their hand or forcing them to use all of them, then they will no longer be a master. But they will still presumably be a mage and have access to whatever abilities they get from being a mage without a servant.
so next question then. Hypothetically, I really don't want. I really don't. But like, say hands had to come off. Do you have anybody on standby that can put them back on after the war is over?
Or hang on, okay. DM question, does regenerate work in Type Moon?
It
Like,
does.
could we just
Regenerate works.
chop,
You could
chop their
regrow a
hand?
hand. It will not have command seals on it, but you can regrow a hand.
That was going to be my next
Yep.
question.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, because Aiden's like, I don't want to kill anybody. I don't want to chop off their hands, but if it comes to it, like, I guess I'm chopping off hands. Like,
So, like, yeah, it will not have command seals on it, because otherwise you encounter the weird munchkin thing where someone cuts off their hand and grows a new one, and now they have 6 command seals. So
Ugh,
we're
ugh.
not doing that.
Someone would absolutely do that if they could. Oh my god.
yeah. Uh,
Someone has tried that.
so he just kind of looks around at like all the church people. He's just like, is there anybody that could potentially help with that?
If
I
someone
mean,
comes to us injured, we will do our best to stabilize them in whatever means is necessary for that.
okay. It's reassuring.
You may also find that medicine and healing is a bit different here than it is where we're from.
Oh,
How
how
so?
so?
Uh, this world is not so limited in its mana availability. Some of the greater spell and healing arts are still practiced here. There are still limitations, but whereas above it would take more mana than one could reasonably gather in the duration of a casting of a spell to achieve, let's say, the 6th or 7th or even the 8th levels of Magecraft. Here they are possible to the very few who are experienced enough to do so.
Gotcha.
That said, the dead are still dead. The area hangs on to them longer than it normally would, which may make some things more possible than usual, but ultimately, souls that can pass on will pass on, and souls that cannot pass on will experience whatever this place does to them. You will note that a lot of people here should not still be here due to the passage of time. There is an army wandering the countryside that has been lost for a very long time. And they move from place to place looking for the battlefield where they can finally meet their rest. And until they do, they continue to wander. My understanding is that some of them have been wandering for more than 1,000 years.
Ooh.
Time is different here. Time continues to pass, but the way that it affects the people seems to vary based on who they are and what their story is. So while you can come down here and go back up a few days later and the world has moved on at that rate, if you stay down here for long enough that this changes you, then you may find that you could no longer live up there. If you outlive your natural lifespan down here, this may be the only place where you can stay.
Okay. I think that's the majority of the questions Aiden would have had. It's just the biggest thing was procuring safety or how to, hopefully mitigate a lot of damage. If I think of anything else, I guess I can send to you too.
We will be here.
Yeah.
I am in many ways not permitted to leave for the duration of the Grail War.
Gotcha.
Yes, those were all the questions I had, I think.
Yeah, Aiden will step back
Oh,
and
I thought
kind of
this
look
is
over to Penelope.
probably obvious to you, but I would not recommend taking your servant to the world above. The mana is tenuous at best up there.
For now.
For now.
Nods head.
I assume the thing where we have to tell her the wish is going to be done off screen.
Yeah, because I know what your wishes are, you can just tell me if you're lying or not. Like,
Oh,
if you're just
cool.
gonna tell her, you can just say that you told her. We don't have to roleplay that.
Yeah. Now tell
And
her.
in terms of the wording of that, all this really means is that if we make it far enough that, one of you wins and you get to do it, then we can do the sit down and we can lawyer up exactly the wording and she will help you to the best of her ability to
Yeah.
get it right. You get the impression
Cool.
that maybe the last Grail War probably would have gone smoother if whoever won it didn't word their wish like an idiot. Or
Well,
we're
no,
just
I'm sure it was
incredibly
cheer.
ambitious. So,
Woo.
yeah,
Yay.
you did it. And no one even walks squares around you. This
Woo.
place is too
This
big for
time,
that.
it'd be more like a what? A pentagon? If she was walking around the edges of that
Oh, like the
thing.
hexagon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the night is. No, it's not night. It's morning. The day is still young. We can
It's
still
true.
have circles walk around us.
It's
It's
okay.
true.
I was gonna walk this way.
I feel like if I were
Whee!
designing this map for our purposes, I would be like, oh, cool, Septagon.
Yeah.
But yeah. there you
So
go.
once the two of them have stepped away, look, sorry, I was looking at Lucretia. Penelope's gonna walk back up to Lucretia and she's gonna wait and see how far away Iden and Anna step.
He's like right over
Are they
here
gonna
with.
stay like close to the platform, or are they gonna?
Yeah, I guess Annis will mosey on down.
As you guys get down there, a lot of food is brought out
Oh,
on
good.
little carts. It is
Right.
all salads.
Am I? I'm assuming I didn't just step into the void and fall 500 feet to my death.
You did not.
Okay, good. Like that could be a bottomless pit, or it could just be dark stone. I don't know.
It's just darker stone. You are
Um,
fine. There are
but
no
yeah,
void pits here.
but yeah, Penelope will walk up to Lucretia and she's going to act like she's talking to Lucretia.
Yeah.
But she's keeping basically, yeah, she's going to pretend like she's talking to Lucretia.
Right.
But she's thinking the entire conversation.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
care.
As you were fake talking, it turns out that the two of you are just quoting dialogue from the movie to each other, so that you don't have to think that hard.
It's the Titanic.
Quite possibly.
I'll never let go, Jack.
Why are you
And
talking without me?
honestly, we could have the conversation out loud. I don't really care. But I just want to emphasize for everyone else
Yeah.
that you are not able to hear what is happening.
Bathroom break. Got it.
No, you're fine. Like I've messaged back to you like how she feels about that, but if you want to play it out, we can.
Yeah, mostly because I've just been sitting here.
No, go for it.
Um,
Okay, so internal monologue.
woo,
Internal dialogue, I guess.
yay. Um, okay, so she said neutrality would. Okay, cool. So I don't need to run this by them.
You shouldn't have to.
Okay,
You can if you wish, of course, but I suspect that uh, the this was kind of a strange experience for me because I'm used to having two voices in my head,
right.
for obvious reasons, and
Yeah,
both of us are in here right now. Whenever the Grail kicks in with that ruler, it's less
mhm,
sharing space and more like getting shoved into the passenger seat. So when it decides that it's going to speak up, it takes over and it speaks for me, and I am present, but I am not in control. But it only
gotcha,
does that whenever it feels like the ritual is being endangered by something. So
gotcha,
I suspect that most of the time it will only really act up if I decide that I'm going to abandon my responsibilities in its eyes, or if an incident occurs where a servant needs to be put in their place, so to speak.
gotcha.
It
Um,
does prevent me from saying things that I would like to say, and while I don't know how much it can understand conversations like this, I feel like if it gets the impression that I'm giving you information that you shouldn't have, it will see you as a threat to the Grail War, and I do not wish to put a target on you.
that's that's fair. Um, okay. So until I hear otherwise, that the that that plan is a good idea.
Yes, that should work. I I think that that would be fair. I cannot give you any directions, and I cannot give you any information directly, but
Yeah.
As always, you're very observant, and I have confidence in your ability to connect dots.
I am very good at that. World champion.
One of the best.
And then, so this castle with the dragon.
Yes, Albion.
Yeah.
I opted not to say that out loud in front of the church.
Thank you. Yeah, so that's where Morgan Le Fay currently is.
That would make sense as a prison.
Yeah. And I've been given the go-ahead to go and wake her up.
The ladies must be open-minded or desperate.
I think it's more of the former combined with a little dash of they've given me full power over the choice.
That is quite a trust.
Yeah.
You're very good at winning trust.
Which is kind of scary.
Well, I can't really blame them on that front, given my own background.
Yeah.
So you seek to wake her up?
I do.
Well, on this issue, completely unrelated to the Holy Grail War, completely, absolutely unrelated in all possible ways, especially with regards to who you may or may not encounter in pursuit of this, I can
Yeah.
tell you that the dragon bearing a castle upon its back has a roost up to the further east area. If you go back upriver from the way that I presume you came from, based on seeing your boat coming that way through the window earlier,
Mm-hmm.
I suspect that you'll eventually get past the ruins of the fallen tower and then continue up the river further to the spider's lair.
Mm-hmm.
And if you, from the spider's lair, were to travel a bit further east into the mountains, it will get very cold as you get further up and as you get closer to the top of the world. And near the top of the world, what you will find is the roost where that dragon seems to sleep. And you'll know you're approaching the top of the world because the mana will get thick, but also it may look familiar to you as the angle that Scribe saw in that dream that we shared.
Oh.
If you go up from there, it will eventually, through that toxic level of mana, reach the entrance that he looked through. I suspect that is also why the shadow cast by
Yeah.
that dragon was able to reach him in the world above, and why, based on what I've gleaned from conversations in the past, it wanders dangerously close to Sherwood through what appears to be a void lurking.
Yeah.
That was part of the entrance to Dream's End that I was attempting to seal off, but it proved very large and very deep.
Yeah.
So, if you wish to seek the dragon, and you're prepared
Mm-hmm.
for that, then whether or not it is there now, that tends to be where it goes to rest. It is not a
Gotcha.
safe journey. The mountains are dangerous, as are many things, but you would probably have an easier time reaching it there than encountering it as it makes its rounds across the large crescent island. I would also wager that anyone else who's attempting to follow it will be mounting a similar expedition.
True. Hmm. You said it's to the east in the mountains. Is that up, continuing up the river, or
Beyond the
or-
spider's den.
hold on, I'm pulling up the map now because I'm just like, oh yeah, the river does stop there. That's the lake. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Woohoo!
Waterfall, if I remember correctly.
I couldn't remember if there was more.
As it
Ignore
turns
the
out,
last
you're
question.
relatively close to it.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay. That. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. And then I know as we were coming down, we were able to see the Einosh forest. Oh my god.
Dice
Sorry.
everywhere.
But yeah, we were able to see the forest of Einosh. Supposedly it's getting bigger.
That is my understanding, that while the tree has subsisted here for some time, it seems to have grown more and more territory very rapidly in the past, I would say equivalent to year.
Oh, good.
I would assume that while it was relatively dormant for a time, it was probably given, it may or may not be the right word for it, but in my mind, it is ambition. It seems to feel like it can grow and that it can take the territory around it. And now that this place is feeding it as much as it is, it may be able to grow larger and deeper than it ever could in the surface world. So that is a danger to this region. It will eventually run out of trees to consume, at which point the roots will only be able to grow deeper and deeper until it reaches the base of this world and bleeds it dry. This is a problem that if you fancy getting involved in local politics, which I'm sure you would rather not do, the leaders of the city would very much like assistance resolving that issue before it spreads further, as is their food production is unaffected, but understandably the land will dry up the longer this goes, and eventually it will become a problem. And of course,
Right.
there's the issue of the murder trees.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's going to be another thing to keep in mind. Okay.
It is another thing that is absolutely unrelated to the Holy Grail War, and therefore I can speak freely about it. But
yeah, absolutely.
it would be wise to enjoy your salad once it gets here.
Yeah, I will definitely do that. Oh, okay. One last thing, and this really has nothing to do with the Grail War. It's just a good thing. And then she's gonna turn and look at Johnny and like motion for her to come up. And then
Johnny does so.
Cool. And then she's just gonna show off to Lucretia and be like, "Look, look, 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 look!"
Oh, congratulations. I trust you had an eventful wedding prior to this.
It literally happened yesterday.
Very eventful then.
and
Well, I wish you
this
both
whole
the
part is
best of
out
luck.
loud.
I suspect that the members of the church here are both happy that you are living in wedlock, and at least some of them are frustrated that you are living in wedlock. So it's a win-win in my mind.
Well, they just don't need to know about what we did before last night.
It's none of their business.
Exactly. But also, like, I really wanted to tell you because, like, you're the one who kind of maybe not pushed me to, you know, tell Johnny how I was feeling, but you definitely encouraged it.
I'm glad you decided to go ahead with it. You both look very happy, and in general, the world needs more happiness.
Yeah, it does. And then she's just gonna go up and give Lucretia a big hug, if it's allowed.
It is allowed. The girl does not stop it.
This hug has nothing to do with the Grail War, damn it!
Kinda, yeah. She hugs you back, and then she turns to hug Johnny, who accepts the hug. And as she's hugging Johnny, um, she says something very low that Penelope can overhear.
Ooh,
Like just loud enough for Penelope to hear, but not anyone off the elevated
yeah,
platform.
yeah.
And what she says is, if you run into our mutual friend, I would recommend you start with the tongue and keep pulling.
Oh Lord, is he here too?
I'm really glad I muted to take a sip because I almost fucking choked.
Not, yeah. She's like, oh, don't worry. If I run afoul of him, his tongue might be the only thing that's left. It's only because I don't want it out of my sight. It couldn't happen to a bigger ass. Oh yeah, that'll
And
be gone.
hmm?
She's like, oh yeah, that'll be gone.
So how's the salad?
Yeah. So after that, we're gonna go down and enjoy this nice salad.
Hooray. Annis, give me a nature check.
Okay.
Okay.
Like I don't want to take this away from Penelope, but even I caught that there's something weird about the salad that
Yeah,
we need to take note of. Please be a 14.
it's enough for you. Yeah, this salad, it has a familiar trait to it. Most of it's pretty normal, but the salad has those very tiny lines on it that you recognize from when
Mm.
Clock Tower, specifically the botany department, grows its own stuff.
Mint Julep a master.
Mint honey blossom.
I'm calling her Mint Julep forever. I'm writing this down. Is
Mint Honey Blossom actually took the hand after all. I'm kidding.
Julep a master? Did she kill Lovisa?
Does Penelope pick up anything extra with that 20?
Penelope knows that this is blatantly sourced from the botany department.
Lord.
You've had enough people talking about the stuff around you. You remember Iden making a big deal out of the plant.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing, you're all aware of it. You know that the stuff was also something that found its way to, for obvious methodology, it found its way to the whole spider experiment nonsense.
Mm,
Yeah. Oh, he definitely
So
recognizes those plants.
you're all
um,
aware, you're familiar with it. Um, Her serving this up to you seems like she went out of her way to do it because, like, there's obviously plants here. There's probably better salads,
mhm.
but this is the one that she had brought out to you. There's also nothing wrong with it. Like, you can totally eat this. It's not like poisoned or magic or anything. It's just, it's almost like someone left a
Like a
watermark on the
clue.
food.
Mm.
Can you refresh my memory? It was Mint Honey Blossom the like head honcho of botany, or was she just like a mook that we ran into?
She's just the person
She
you ran into, and
Okay.
then kind of got in trouble.
Okay. Do I know who the person in charge of botany actually is? I feel like I would, and I'm looking to see if I wrote it down at any point. But
wasn't Gil 2.0 someone who worked in botany?
Uh, Gil Original and Gil 2.0
Yeah,
both
that's why I was
worked in
like,
botany. Um,
but they weren't like the guy in charge.
no, they were just like essentially like professors who, were in, well, like they were more like researchers than professors, but
Hmm.
yeah, like they were definitely involved in it. Let me pull up my chart to see who's in charge of botany.
I feel like Annis maybe not would have met that person, but would know who they are.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the list of people in botany that Annis knows. Uh, do do do.
Wow, I'm back far enough in the notes that I go Irvine Gilrath, comma, that bitch.
I mean, still fair.
If
Yep,
only I
still
knew.
accurate.
If only I knew. Iden's Catcher, Centaur Himbo.
Still accurate.
Albedo Happenstance, the most cursed person in Clock Tower.
Also true.
Still accurate.
Okay, that's
Yeah, so I'm oh God, I forgot about some of this stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna read to you some of the known members of Clock Tower's alchemy department for you.
alchemy
So
and not botany.
no, sorry, botany. The word appeared in
Okay.
front of me while I was reading.
Okay.
Botany. So members of the botany party um include Makiri Zolgan or Zokan Mato, if you want to go by the name he usually uses now,
Oh,
was part of
so
botany.
I know it's not him, but
You know it's not him. Um, you know that your grandpap worked with him though to create command seals a long time ago.
yep.
Um, you know that you sold a potion to Hinako Akuta.
Oh yeah.
So that's neat. Um, not that it means anything to Annis, but Beryl Gut is from botany.
Ah.
Yeah, that
Oh.
asshole.
Oh.
Oh
He's from
no.
botany? Are you kidding?
It's because he's like he uses actual like hedge witchcraft.
Yeah, I guess so. He does.
Yeah,
Ugh.
he's a monster. We're not including him in this
Yeah.
game, but I'm just
Okay,
letting
I
you
was
know
about to
because
say, I
he's
kind of
funny.
hope it's him so
He's
I can
not in
beat
this
him.
game. He's not even
Okay.
getting a cameo. I can't stand him.
Yeah.
Um,
Fair
no,
enough.
when you get there, you'll know. He
Uh-huh.
Oh
he
no,
is
trust me,
awful.
Mm-hmm.
I've read spoilers.
Okay, well then you know he's awful.
Yeah.
Um, so there you go. Um, so that's them.
So
But yeah, the head of uh botany in canonical fate is the Archelot family. Um, but for the purposes of what we're doing, um, God, pulling these things up, it's very confusing because the the Type Moon departments are messy because some people get to be part of multiple.
mm-hmm.
Um, but like you would know that like the Archelot family runs it. Um, specifically like who's in charge of it right now. Type Moon just calls them Lord Archelot. I'm gonna tell you now, it's not them. They're
Okay.
like it's just I don't want to go through the process of inventing a brand new head of the political organization just for Type Moon to tomorrow release who they are, just like they did when they finally gave Van-Fem art a month after I finally gave them an appearance. The
Yeah.
bastards. Not that I'm annoyed, um, but yeah. So like you know who's running that, but there it's not going to be them. Just in the meta telling you, but you know that people within botany, you know from listening to your grandpap growing up that botany has always been kind of pissy towards specifically the phantasmals that are sitting on the pretty ley line that they want to use, and that obviously your family makes better potions than they do. And so long running rivalry. If you recall, the botany department were also the ones who were kind of pulling the shenanigans that resulted in some of you having to sneak into the Department of Lore to get the paperwork saying that no, really, this was given to you by the Lady of the Lake. It's yours. Um, so the idea that botany would be involved in whatever she's insinuating there makes sense. They would love a world full of fancy super ley lines and extinct plants. But in terms of specifically like who you think from botany would be involved, you don't have a lot to run by. Like you already pointed out, I'm gonna dig out some pictures. This map's been boring. Let's get her out here. We haven't looked at her picture in a while. There she is.
Hey.
Mint julep.
Yep. You know she's there. You know both the Irvines are there. You know that when Gilrath 2 showed up, they've been keeping him under very close watch. And you know that whether or not they're aware of it, there is a Past to Dreams in from the botany department. So, she's like Lucretia seems to be pointing you in the direction of maybe this is important. So there's some clues.
When we went down the stairwell, did we pass through a bounded field? Like we must have, right?
I mean, botany itself has bounded fields throughout. Like there's the normal one that makes it hard to do illusions. That's just spread throughout most of the clock tower properties. You know that the greenhouse that Irvine Gilrath maintained, which had all the blights in it, had a bounded field, but it was very weak, seemingly from neglect, since no one had really been maintaining it for a long time. And over the course of the downtime of you like coming back and forth, it seems the simulacrum has not been reinforcing it because it seems to not be like in his to-do list. So it's actually gotten pretty weak. Based on your understanding of it, that means there's a good chance that botany doesn't know what they're sitting on, or someone else would have reinforced it, especially among the security teams. But that doesn't mean necessarily that like botany doesn't have other stuff going on. It's a very big thing. Like they take up massive gardens. But yeah, you've not gotten the impression that anything has really interfered with your path down from there.
I'm mainly trying to rule out Irvine Gilrath simulacrum. Snowvine Gilrath. I'm trying to rule him out as the potential master from botany. I know it's not him,
right?
But I'm trying to basically just cover all my bases.
Yeah, that is fair. Like in general, due to the fact that Simulacrum can't seem to learn new things,
he wouldn't be able to have command
Yeah.
he couldn't take command seals. But that doesn't mean that, you know, he is not still a source of information to whoever's getting information out of him. So.
Okay. Well, that's definitely a clue.
Yep.
Because it was when she was talking about, specifically when she was talking about the person that could have the hand, is when she made the comment about the salad, right? Or
I mean, she's dropped hints about the salad throughout.
The salad has been ever present. It wasn't specifically in response to that question.
Okay.
She seems to have, before you said anything, after she'd mentioned that she's met with the other masters, she then had a salad called for you.
Okay.
Or if that's not the order that happened with, that was what I was trying to do. But we'll let the recording be the judge.
Yeah. Wow, this is a great salad.
Adam's over here.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
I like the dressing. It's very dressingy.
Johnny verbalizes the question. Can your spice pouch make croutons?
I'm sure it can. She pulls out the spice pouch and then opens it up. Are there croutons?
They're not croutons, but there's like crumbles, like little garlic crumbles.
So
She just hands the bag over to Johnny.
That'll do. Sprinkles it, hands it back.
Just closes it and puts it back in. Did we ever determine if Penelope got a cute bag of holding or not?
Oh yeah, by now she did. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, she just puts it in her little cute bag of holding that doesn't look like a bag of holding.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the thing that she asked Kwaku for so long ago that like it's been done.
Yeah,
I just
cool.
forgot to tell you.
Yay. See. Before we head out from the church. Oh no! Damn it.
Oh yeah, there it went.
I say Aiden wants to talk to Charity.
What a coincidence. Penelope also wants to talk to
can both
Okay,
talk
while
to her.
y'all are munching, Aiden's like trying to get her attention, and he's just like,
fine, Ennis will head over here. Not that far.
And
Okay.
she'll just be like, hello.
Standing directly over her, looming. But yeah, no, y'all have your conversation with.
yeah, he just wants a quick one with her. He's just like, hello, I have learned the saying. I believe we started off on the wrong hoof. I would like to formally meet you. We kind of met as Sugar Cubes. That's not actually my name. I am Aiden Suncatcher. He like puts the hand out to like hopefully do the shake.
She gives you a look over and says, "Yes, we did start off on the wrong foot, and I believe I heard your name when it was announced while you were signing that contract, but I apologize for my behavior before. It was unbecoming." And she shakes your hand while still
So
wearing
we
her
can be
gloves.
friends, yes?
That remains to be seen. I am here on business. Um, she takes a look at like, is your hand visible? Like, are the are
He's
markings visible?
I
Like, it's
feel like
obvious to
he
everyone here why you're here, but I'm just wondering if she's got that to look at.
I mean, he had the glove on, but he like I said, he wants to be very honest with her, so he's just gonna like pull down the glove and be like so she can see it.
She sees it and she looks over at you. I understand this is rude, but I'm just going to ask, what would you wish of the world?
I just want the mono to be fixed for all of us. I just want us to live together. And I don't think a wish is needed for that. I think we just need to be able to talk to each other. But the mana, that's gotta get fixed. We're all
So,
doomed.
so you would heal this planet for your
Mm-hmm.
wish. I can respect that. Doing what you can to protect God's creation. She nods and
And goddesses. But yes.
she seems to let that one go.
Yeah. He's letting go like that one. He's like, yeah.
So are
He
you
just
prepared to fight in this war of murder and destruction?
I guess maybe you didn't quite hear me up there. I don't okay. Besides the contract, because like I said, that I put him in there, specifically to be his undoing and not to actually be a master. But I don't want to kill anybody. I would just like to take away the servant aspect.
So you're willing to kill him.
He has no redemption. He has clearly stated that he will never stop, and he is a problem for all of us. And let me make it very clear, the fact that I am going to send him to the root is something very serious, for I am a peace cleric.
Oh,
I don't
just
take
to
that
be
lightly.
clear, I understand. There are monsters, and not all
He is a monster.
monsters seek salvation or
No.
forgiveness. And
So, yes,
I would
he is an
simply ask
exception.
you, um, he is a monster and you understand that he has to go. What of the other mages that you encounter? What if they are also monsters? Will they also go? Or is he the special exception?
I give everybody a chance. If they prove that they do not want to stop, that they are going to harm all of us, then my hand at that point, whether I like it or not, may be forced. But if someone is just misguided, or they think they're doing something good and they don't realize they're going to hurt everyone, that's something that just for being, you know, unknowing to that, they don't deserve to have their life taken. Just so everyone else can get a wish. That's not okay.
But these are people that are willing to kill for their wish, are they not?
I mean, yes. But like I said, I am a peace cleric and I believe everyone should have a chance. And if what compels them is something that makes sense, and by all means, I could understand to that, temptations can drive people to do things. My job is to never give in to temptation. Like I said, monsters are an exception to the rule because everyone is harmed. That's not a temptation, that is a threat. But if someone just, I don't know if this is a possible wish, say that, oh gosh, I'm losing her name. It's, was it not Luvisa? The grandmother was, they're so close together.
No, it was Lavisa.
Oh, it
Livisa's
was
the
Luvisa?
Livisa
Okay.
Edelfeld is the matriarch, yeah.
Okay, yeah. From what Luvisa told me, she just wanted to spend time with her friend again, and she was willing to go into a war for that. In my opinion, eh, that doesn't constitute taking somebody's life. I can't, I couldn't do it.
Okay. Well, just keep in mind that part of the conflict that many have with the organization that I belong to is that when we encounter monsters, we put them down. We do not do this lightly. Some do, I suppose, but I personally have never put down a monster that I did not see beyond redemption. So I would simply ask you, as someone who's taken on the role of discerning whether or not another being is beyond redemption, that you
Mhm.
make sure you're comfortable with that, because once you put someone down, they're done. And I sleep soundly at night knowing that every creature that I have ended is no longer out there, making the world a more dangerous and scary place. If you feel that you can sleep as soundly as possible, knowing that you have made that difference in the world, then that is a righteous path, and I simply pray that you are correct.
Thank you. That means a lot.
She nods. and you see that Laeticia standing next to her is kind of like awkward smiling, like, yeah.
And he walks over. He's just like, "It's good to see you again. Less somber mood. You want some salad?"
Um, I I'm good actually, but thank you.
Uh,
Um, it's nice to see you again.
yeah.
I prefer this version of you. Gestures towards like your horse body.
She
More
prefers your
you.
booty.
Oh, he
It
blushes
seems
a
more
little.
honest in you. The
Oh, thank you.
the dancer was a a nice
Like,
act, but this seems more you.
legs are very hard. I'm gonna be honest. Very comfortable.
I wouldn't really know how to use anything else, but I can imagine at the very least you probably felt a bit front heavy.
Yeah, unbalanced. Very front heavy. Well, hopefully, I could swing by here a few times and we could say hi again. And of course, when the Holy Grail War is over, I don't know where your church is, but if it's possible to visit, I would love to do that.
When this is over, I think I'll be going back to school.
Oh,
But
education's very important.
yeah,
You just,
much to study, much to learn. And hopefully
I
I'll take
too
the
want to
things that
try
I
some.
learn here back with me.
Yeah,
Again? Hmm.
gonna wander away after he has like small talk with them. Hey,
Would you like the map
Yeah.
again?
Huh?
Do you
Would you
need the
like the
map
map
again?
again?
I will as soon as I'm able to join back in.
Totally
oh
fair.
no.
Cool. My conversation with Sister Sylvia doesn't have to be like a full on-screen thing. I'm just checking in with her, seeing how she's been doing since France.
She's been doing
Yeah.
okay. Like her life has gotten a little bit nicer since she came back with the arrangement that she made with um you to recover the stolen item from the Lupin heist. Well, the Lupin party of previous Lupin heists. Um,
Mm-hmm.
like coming back with that shroud was very helpful for her. She secured her objective, and also she was a little. She says that she left out the details of what exactly happened with the strange alcohol dragon man, um,
Good.
because that was hard to believe in the first place, and obviously coming back without him would not have looked great, so she left that out. Um, but in general, she was not actually expecting to be assigned to this place, but because she did such a good job of recovering an artifact before from a world full of strange mages and other dangerous people, then she's been sent here to come along with some of her team. And it's been a bit awkward because, like, Lucretia's here, and Lucretia was kind of involved in the thing that undermined the security she set up before.
Yeah.
Um, and in
Oh man.
general, she goes where she's told, and she's been kind of taking advantage of the fact that she's not quite as rooted to this building as Lucretia is, and not under as much like control and surveillance as Laeticia is. So she has been wandering through the town on occasion and taking in some of the sights of the strange things lost to time. She, in fact, recommends if you have a moment that you go and check out what she kind of casually refers to, like, well, not casually, but like with a little bit of emphasis. Um, she recommends just checking out the gardens, because she has a feeling that you, as a known druid and potion maker, might find more value in the strange things that seem to grow here that she has never seen in other places before.
Noted.
But also a fair warning that this is a place that, in a lot of ways, is kind of like a tourist town in the eyes of the people running it. So don't be surprised if a lot of things that probably shouldn't cost money. And also that they have their own money here, and it's very strange.
Duly noted.
She says to maybe keep an actual coin purse because they are very much in the coin currency.
But not coin that we would already have.
She says that it's pretty much running on gold, silver, and copper, but in order for it to like be noteworthy to the locals, it has to come from this area because they are stamped with various rulers and symbols from throughout time, and apparently it's as much interesting to them for the value as trade as it is collection. There seem to be people around here who like to fill out their rulers of Greece collection or their like you have it on good authority from uh, both Freddie and from Derek that in America they like to make quarters for each state, and
Right.
that there are all kinds of weird currency things floating around. Like ultimately the value is determined by what it's made of, but if you were to show up with like modern world paper money or like American pennies or something, like that copper means nothing to these people. They don't care. Um, that kind of junk gets found when, buildings show up or whatever. And like it was cute at first, but they don't really care as much for that as they do the locally minted stuff. So, net result, you do not have money here yet.
Okay.
Now you're broke with me. Yeah.
Though bartering is also alive and well, as is the nature of what happens when you combine every culture. Like, what can you
Hooray.
trade? Still good.
Alrighty. So I will thank her for all of the advice and tell her to stay safe, and I will rejoin the party.
Hooray.
Boom. Sorry, Johnny.
Are you making out with Johnny over there?
Yes, absolutely.
Whoa.
This is like some kind of weird cosplay thing.
No, for that to be the case, I'd have to do that. They're the same person. No.
Blur. Derek is confused.
He should be.
Good.
All right.
Oh, there's a nice little spot there.
Yeah, that's where Penelope was.
I know, yeah.
She's gonna come back and eat her salad and be like,
I'll be right here then. There.
It doesn't actually matter. I was joking. Oh my gosh. Don't make that face.
Too late.
Okay, so Penelope is gonna go up to Laeticia and Sister Charity Palms. Almost said Charity Palms.
Yeah.
That's an entirely different.
Yeah.
So
That's
close.
the sister from their Florida chapter.
Not where I was going, but that's probably a better interpretation.
Yeah. But yeah, so she'll say a quick hello to Laeticia.
Hello again.
And then she'll say hello to Sister Charity Psalms. I have to blend it into one word now. She'll be like, So, how have things been since the boat?
Well, for starters, we did not successfully win entry into the Holy Grail War, but you know that.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't either.
you did though, didn't you? Didn't you hand it off?
I mean, I handed it off to Aiden, but that she just like holds up her hands like, see,
Yep, I understand. Yes, but other than that, we were sent here to, of course, do our part in helping facilitate um, per the rules of engagement, but also we are here to hopefully minimize the damage done to the locals of this world. So
yeah, that's for the best.
it's an interesting place. I would hate to see something happen to it.
Yeah, it's really cool. I like the sky.
That
I
is
know it could
interesting.
definitely kill us, but it's
Have
really cool.
have you seen a storm yet?
No,
Well,
have you?
we observed one shortly after we arrived. When we came here, we had to make our way to this city from where we came in, and what we observed was a storm that seemed to come in with a big cloud. It's very foggy, and then when the fog left, the area that was previously lush trees was replaced with a very large boat. I get the impression that it was a cruise liner that is
Oh,
now sitting in the middle of a forest.
oh no.
And there were confused people on board. And it turns out that they were from the 1980s. And apparently, this is where they ended up. Their ship was lost, and they ended up here. And
Huh.
Madame Lucretia informed us that apparently that's just something that happens here, and
Oh,
that
fun.
fortunately for them, if they were to go back to the world above, they will have seen far too many things for the association or the church to allow that to happen. So we had the unfortunate duty of telling them to get settled here without their families who may still be alive.
Oh no.
It's not an easy assignment.
No. Yeah, that sucks.
It's one thing to have, say, a pirate ship appear where they've got nothing to go back to, but it's another thing to see people who are cut off from a world that could see them back.
Yeah. Oof.
But they are now settled in to the best of their ability. When we arrived here, Sister Sylvie over there helped them get settled into what I believe is a Motel 6. Um, it is not the finest of living, but it is shelter and it is familiar, and I think that goes a long way.
Yeah.
That implies that a Motel 6 went missing.
Are you
Wait,
that
that implies that a
surprised?
Waffle House. That's true. I'm not that surprised. I'm just like, huh.
Yeah, the real question you should be asking yourself is how are skyscrapers going missing?
That's fair.
Very carefully.
Earthquakes, natural disasters.
Oh.
Nope, I'm not gonna
No.
make the joke. I'm
Not
not
that
gonna.
Don't
one.
do. Oh, don't do it.
I know where you're going.
We all
Don't
know
do
where
it.
I was going,
Oh,
so I'm
don't
not
do
going
it.
there.
No, we're not doing that one.
Nope.
I mean, it would be funny, but
Oh, don't do it. Oh,
But yeah.
sorry, I completely derailed you.
oh no.
They got settled into a Motel 6.
Yeah. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, that's wild. Anything else in the last few
Well, I know that she tilts her head towards Freddy. Um,
months?
certain deals were made with him, but it's a bit out
Uh-huh.
of my pay grade, so I don't know the details. Oh, and we got to watch the Mage World suffer a bit under its own weight when the monstrous Harvesters organization was no longer feeding them sacrificed creatures to do their magic.
Yeah.
So that was a plus. If they can't get by without such horrific practices, then perhaps they should suffer.
You know.
Back.
There's a fist pump in the background, like, yeah.
So no other news from you?
Are you looking for anything in particular?
Um I I just I don't know, were you ever able to find the girl I was talking about?
You're gonna dig your own grave.
Do you mean
Can
the,
I
was this the,
do what?
was this the Sax Coat girl?
No. She's like out at sea or something. Huh, it'd be funny if she ended up here. No, like the other girl. Ruby Clover.
Oh, we did some looking, but turns out she's very hard to find.
Yeah.
Getting the impression that's not her real name.
I don't know for sure. And that's what she told me it was.
I think you might have been lied to. Or perhaps it was one of those things where someone just picks a new name for themselves and then starts going by that regardless of what they were called before.
Uh, yeah, I wouldn't know anything about that. She was probably just lying to me.
Probably. Well, as you mentioned, lots of people could end up here, so anyone lost at sea may show up. Perhaps you'll find her here. This is a big city. There are a lot of people.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Laeticia pipes up out of nowhere. You know there are cat people here?
That's what I heard, and I thought I heard
They're
wrong.
they're like cats, but they're people. Well, like humanoid-ish.
Oh, the accent. Took me long enough.
So they're like meow meow cats, but
Like the
like
Broadway
people.
show. They're like the Broadway
Oh
show.
no, God. Ah.
Wasn't expecting that.
And you know what? I can't even be like, are we talking like,
Oh yeah, because the movie wasn't.
yeah.
Yeah, it was just the Broadway
Ugh.
show back then.
You know what? That's probably
Take me
for the
back.
best.
A
That's for
simpler
the best.
time.
A simpler time. That's interesting. That is how I'm going to put that. That is interesting. Um. Okay.
Just for the fun of anyone who doesn't know, I'm going to show a picture of a tabaxi.
And who do I happen to be fighting right now?
Oh, no.
Oh, this is a fun one. Here's a picture of one. You know, because they're from a musical.
Oh, jeez.
He looks like he came straight out of Disney's Robin Hood. I'm not gonna lie.
No, he does, which
This
I
cat is.
appreciate. Very pre-Hamsterdams of them. But yeah,
So,
cat people.
okay, I don't know why I can't move my token the way I normally would, but Penelope will take her leave. Or she'll be like, yeah, she'll thank them for their time. Blah.
It's nice
And
to
then
see
go back.
you.
Yeah, it's good to see you too.
Hooray.
Phew. Okay. Does anybody else have any other business here?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay. All right, she's gonna call up to Lucretia and be like, all right, we're gonna be heading out.
I wish you the best of luck, all of you.
Thank you.
Same to you, I think.
I hope that this grail goes off without a hitch. One last thing, just to let you know. We've created a bit of an illusion system with this building. As the Grail War progresses, we will be projecting into the sky a signifier whenever a servant is defeated.
It's the Hunger Games.
Very Hunger Games. Yeah, thank you.
I know you're all thinking Hunger Games. I'm pulling it from something else, but yes, that is also a thing. Like it's not specifically Hunger Games, but yes, in a way.
Good. I look
But
forward
this
to
is
seeing the butcher
essentially
up
your
there.
way of knowing where things are at in case maybe you're not present when a servant dies. Who knows? Maybe other masters are doing something.
What? Crazy.
Gasp.
Maybe it's not going to be you fighting 5 other masters all the time. Maybe they're all doing their own stuff. Mages are dicks like that. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, so I guess we're all going back outside to be like,
Yep. Shall we reconvene at the boat with
yeah,
everybody?
yeah,
All right. I will bring up the boat
the boat.
and drag you to it.
I'm on a boat. I'm on a boat.
Yeah.
Let's take a good hard look at the boat.
Titanic.
With my flippy
But cooler.
floppies.
Titanic, but cooler.
But cooler, yeah. I'm on a boat and it's going fast and got another thing, push me again.
Wait, why did I drag her? Get back.
I'm the king of the world. I'm on a boat like Leo.
Yeah.
On the shore, then you show out Mio. Get the fuck. This boat is real.
All right.
I'm going to leave that in the edit in about 10 years when I get to it, just so you
better.
know.
You're
I'll find a
legally-
MIDI version of I'm on a boat and put it in the background. As is my usual. Oh, the blood from the.
I'm gonna get
that'd
rid of
be
that
mine.
now.
Nah, while we were gone, Buck and Diana had an adventure.
You guys are not gonna believe these cats just came out of nowhere and they started dancing at us. There was no stopping them.
Oh my god, it's Diana's old token.
Yeah, that didn't get auto refresh because it's still
That's
there from
okay.
the old map.
That's okay. Buck, don't lie to them.
There were giant cats, but we did not kill them.
There were giant cats.
Well, good.
We mostly just sat here and I watched Buck eat one of the most horrifying looking things I've ever seen in my life.
It's
Was
a
it from
hot
the
dog.
Oh, from right.
My point still stands. Look, I've treated you to better food than this.
Yeah, but you go to a place, you got to try the local food. You have to try what everyone there eats if you want to know how they work. And I know that everyone here eats hot dogs with some bugs in it. Now I know that. That's important.
Sure. Whatever makes you feel like you have learned a thing, sure.
Look, I told you we could have gone to Waffle House, but you're like, oh, I won't go to places that don't have all their letters working.
It's a sign that they're not taking care of their establishment properly.
It's just that how you know it's real. If all the lights are on, you know it's a trap.
I'm not even going to dignify that with a response. How'd it go?
I don't know enough about these waffle homes to know whether that is correct or not.
No, that's pretty true. If all the lights are on, you probably shouldn't go in.
So how did it go?
It went well. Reconnected with some.
Did you find
people?
Jesus?
No.
Okay. Did you find Jesus?
I don't think so.
Okay.
We have some things to discuss. I have some gardens to observe. We have until whatever passes for midnight before the Grail War officially begins. We will know it begins because the sky will get very bright very briefly. But it is not officially beginning until midnight. We're not necessarily safe until then, but
right,
less likely to be attacked.
So we've got a little while before.
I found out that there's currency here, but it is weird, and we would not have it yet. This city is full of nerds that like to collect coins, and they have different famous people on them, from what I can tell.
It's a value-based,
I suppose. But we don't have any of those coins on us, so if we want to get anything, we'll either need to barter or get some coins.
Buck throws you a coin.
Does it, like, what kind of coin is it?
It is a silver coin, and it appears to have a giant bulldog on it.
Where did you get this?
Hot dog guy?
Huh. Wait, okay, how did you get the hot dog if you don't have any money?
Do you really want to ask that question?
No, never mind. I do not care. Okay. All right. Well, this strange dog coin is a start, but yeah. We will.
I mean, if we can find a bank or something somewhere that will exchange precious jewels for coins, I think we'll.
Oh, we barter with people if we need to. That's if we need or want to buy anything. Trying to remember what else other than go check out the gardens. Well, there's the big elephant in the room of we all got the clue about botany.
Yeah.
Well, Diana.
Yes. I don't know. Sorry.
I have reason to suspect that someone from botany is involved in this war.
Oh shit.
Do you have any inkling? I've only met a few people from botany, and I don't know if they would have. I don't know if they are person who took Lovisa's hand, or if they're just the person that Clock Tower is sending. But can you think of anyone from Clock Tower that would have motivation to be in a Grail War?
Hey, DM, do I have that information?
Yeah, does Diana have more information than Annis?
You probably know more about what's going on in Clock Tower than most of the other characters present. So
that's why Annis asked.
Yeah.
You can roll your history and see how well you remember, because I don't think that you've specifically spent a lot of time in botany, but you might still have heard things from just being nosy.
Okay. For some reason, it's not letting me drag any. Like, I'm not able to click and drag on anything.
Interesting.
So I'm gonna roll a d20 and add 5.
Okay.
Because that's what. Yeah.
And then I'm trying to remember.
Oh. So dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Respect.
Yep.
You know that when it comes to botany, there are a lot of people that have ambitions, but specifically, a lot of the current batch of botany people are focused more on the business end of things, as weird as that is to say. Like the production of potions, the production of tinctures, and other things that have value in this variation of the type moon world. Growing things, cultivating them, getting them into a state where they can hold mana a little bit longer, do a little bit more, go a little bit further is very lucrative, both in terms of like actual money, but also in terms of the political favors that you can get with these things, which Annis is just familiar with by the virtue of people like buying her potions. But there's a lot of people that would probably be interested in this. There are also some people who go on expeditions with the lore department and the archaeology department and some of the other ones. And while no one in particular stands out as that guy, that's the one who I think would be involved in a Holy Grail War. Um, there are definitely some groups that you feel would be likely to try to participate. Also, you know that um, the botany department has been running kind of light staffing wise since the early summer. Um, because while the group has been snooping back and forth and scouting Dream's End and all of that, the security has gotten pretty lax, even by literally people from the public can walk around here standards. So while a lot of groups have been spread out in different directions, Botany was the one that made the least sense because they're very territorial with their ley lines. And so while it makes sense that archaeology went to Dream's End to go, you know, find stuff, and lore maybe is doing whatever their weird research is, and curses and all the other ones are doing their own nonsense, but botany's kind of tied to the location. Like they need their ley lines. And while they might like to go to Dream's End and grow stuff, and inevitably some of them did, um, the idea that they've been playing loose with their London ley lines is a bit troubling. Um, Also, just off of your memory, when you were like, I guess the night before this, and stuff was coming through, and you got to overhear some of the stuff going down in Clock Tower that led you to realize what was going on. Um, some of the names that popped up in the communications going back and forth did in fact involve people in botany. So while they're probably not actually masters, there's a coordinated effort involving the botany department to shape something going on here.
Gotcha. Then yeah, she'll relay that to Annis.
Okay. So it does make sense that someone from botany was probably chosen to be a master.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it at this point. Seems more likely than any other place.
That's a solid lead that we have, but only one.
I mean that's better than nothing.
True. Yeah,
Were
that's
we
all I've
able-
got.
Anybody else find anything interesting or learn anything interesting?
I'm concerned that we're gonna have to race against time to beat the butcher
Oh,
to the castle and the dragon and
Don't know that yet.
Yep, you don't know that. That was the telepathic conversation.
That's why I was like,
well, no, because she said it to them that they saw the butcher in the very beginning. The butcher was going for the dragon,
yeah.
and we know the castle's on the dragon.
That's true.
Oh yeah,
That's
true.
that was way.
Yeah, like the information that you have is that he saw it and he ran off in that direction.
Yeah,
The
that was
details you don't have,
straightforward.
but that part you know.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I was like, that we absolutely. He's like, he just kind of looks at because he doesn't know the conversation you had. I am concerned for the fact that you need to deal with awakening and stuff like that. And if he's right there, I'm gonna have to draw him away or something. Like we have to beat him there entirely, or we have to figure out how we can get you in safely.
I mean,
You talked about was it Penelope or Diana who talked about the teleportation, just the people, and we leave a boat behind?
what?
The
Oh,
water teleportation. Who was
mm,
that? Diana or was that Penelope?
I don't remember. I'll be
Okay, he's
honest.
gonna look at you both and be like, "We might actually need to leave the boat behind here if we have to just go through the water and just I don't even know where to go. I just know that we have to race."
Well, if we don't know where to go, we can't.
I mean, yeah, I
That's
just
that's not how the water teleportation thing works. I could probably,
Send us back to our base.
yeah, I could get us back. Even then, like, I think the boat might honestly be faster.
can you keep doing that speed thing, Diana?
Oh God, yes.
If that could get us, because I'm gonna have to tell my mom. We're gonna need to
How old are you, Aiden?
23,
Sunshine. Sorry.
23.
And you have to tell your mom things.
Well, I like to update her. Yes. I mean, she is risking her life being down here. I'd like to kind of update her on the position.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he's just like,
I
they're
didn't
not.
know that. I didn't know that you brought your mother, who I assume is a horse lady.
Oh no, she's an owl. Owlin to be exact.
I'm not gonna get into those logistics.
You
Well, you met
shouldn't.
her at breakfast, didn't she? Yeah.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Was she there?
She was there.
Yeah.
Oh wait, so the
Yeah,
owl
that's
lady
my
was your
mom.
mother?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay, okay. I,
Well,
I mean,
adopted, but
I might need some mind bleach after what just went through my head. Don't be nasty. Me, never.
yeah, we gotta find which way that dragon went. Apparently, it makes patrols around, and we have to beat the butcher. We've got to get Penelope there.
But we could
Let's.
ask around the city and see if anyone else knows more about the whereabouts of the dragon, maybe.
Actually, so this might be where the extra information I have would come in handy. So from what I happen to overhear from Lucretia, um, the dragon has a roost in the mountains to the east of the base of our base.
Oh,
Yeah.
that
It's
explains.
basically. I don't want to talk about it too much while we're here. I think it'll be
Yeah,
safer to talk about it back at the base.
yeah.
Um, but I think we have a little more advantage on getting there than the other group will. Um,
I will say that explains why Enon saw them in that town. Then
I mean, I guess he may just be into cat people.
Uh, I mean, he probably would be. Yes, yes. Oh
Um,
I
no.
think I might need mind bleach.
um, but yeah. So I think let's take the boat back to the base. That way we still have it. Because I know the thing that Diana can do can get us there faster than we normally would get back. Um, because the other thing is, I don't think Diana's had a good chance. No, she's had a long rest. Never mind. Ignore
Yep.
me.
Yep.
But like, kind of have to be careful with the water transport stuff. We can't really go anywhere unless we've either seen the place or we've gotten an image of the place in our minds.
Okay.
Yeah. Um,
Okay. This is now
and
clarification for Aiden.
And yeah, so I don't know, we could probably talk to the ladies and see if maybe they know, if maybe they've seen something, or if like it, we also don't know that there is a lake near this roost.
Hmm.
So
The closest you could get us would be the base anyway.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Um we could see if we'd be allowed to park the boat somewhere here and then come back and get it at some point.
If the
But that
base
seems
is the closest, then we can just take it back to base. He was just like, I was just anxious that there's gonna be a place. I don't know, like,
like, yeah, let's just get back to the base and we'll figure it out from there.
gotcha.
I think that's going to be our best plan.
And now he knows you have to see the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, um but yeah, so were we all in agreement that we're going back to the
Yeah.
base?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Did we want to look around the town at all, or just leave immediately?
I mean, do you guys want to look around the town at all?
I kind of do.
Well, then we can go around town. Like, what's
Like a quick, like, tour.
like? I don't have anything to do here, but if there's anything you guys want to see while we're here, we might as well. Because who knows when we're going to be over here again?
I was told of some gardens that might have some strange plants that could be useful to me.
Okay.
I would like to check those out.
Yeah, we can do that.
Some of us may be able to just talk to the locals and see what information they might be able to give us about potential enemy masters.
If it's daytime now, doesn't that mean like Al Dente would be in the town too?
Maybe? Or he might be on the way back.
Depends on whatever his day is.
Oh, you are far away.
Yeah, we can't hear you at all.
You can't hear me at all? That's weird.
Oh, there you are. You're coming back.
You're coming back.
Oh, maybe the headset just decided to go to sleep on me. Yeah, like it'll just depend on like what his day is. Like you just saw him from a distance, you don't really know anything about him.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, we could do like a quick tour, yeah. I was just gonna be very anxious the entire time because now I'll race to get Penelope.
Okay, now you're cutting
You're
out.
cutting out.
Oh,
Yeah, that time was you.
better.
Hopefully.
I mean,
We'll know as you
maybe.
talk. I mean,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I would say Iden is definitely just gonna be very anxious the entire time. Like he's like, yeah, okay, we've got some time, but he's just got this constant thought in his head now where it's like he's got to race against the clock to get Penelope to this like castle before the butcher. So like that's kind of where his headspace is at. So he's along for the thing.
Then let's go see the gardens that you wanted to see. And if we happen to find any more information, then cool. If not, no worries. Then we'll go back to the base and go from there.
okie
Cool?
dokie.
Cool.
All right,
Actually,
so
Iden wants to stop by the Waffle House.
Iden wants to stop by the Waffle House.
Yes,
Okay,
that's where he'll go.
that
That's
is.
as good a place as any to gain information, I guess.
What would you like to achieve at the Waffle House?
He just wants to ask if any like new humans that haven't been around town have shown up there.
Okay, so
Waffle
walking
House
into the
apparently is
Waffle
a
House,
comfort food.
you find that like it's actually doing the morning rush now. It's like 6 or so. There's a lot of people who've stepped into this Waffle House prior to starting their day. And in the Waffle House there are a variety of humanoid races. You've got like there are some humans, but apparently Waffle House is
Humans,
also
humanoids.
pretty big with
Yeah.
dwarves seem to like it. You haven't seen
Yeah,
that many dwarves in your life, but there are definitely dwarves here.
Wait, no, I thought we was Scraggly.
Yeah, Scraggly's like the only dwarf you've ever seen in your life.
Well,
They
he's the
don't
best dwarf.
they don't show up very often. But yeah, Scraggly's, well, not Scraggly, but like dwarves like Scraggly, but also very different from Scraggly are there. Like, I think this is the first like woman dwarf you've ever seen in your life. Um, so you got that. You've got some half orcs. You've got a few a few more interesting races that you don't actually know the names of are in here, but also there's a few Genasi. So neat. Um, but anyway, so yeah, like wandering in, you see that there's a tiefling woman, a darker skinned elf, is like sees you coming in. She's currently holding a frying pan. She points you towards, like, she points at a booth, and then she turns and sees that you're a horse person. She rolls her eyes, and then she gestures for another person in a Waffle House outfit who appears to be an actual like orc, not a half orc. And then the orc walks over, picks up the table that is
Oh,
in that
oh,
booth, rips it off
you
the
don't have to do
ground,
that. Oh,
and then he brings it over and he picks up the um
wait,
the right half
you,
of the booth and pulls that out
you
of the
don't.
way, and then he puts the table
You
back
don't.
slid over so that there's enough room for your party to squeeze into half of a booth with more space for the horse booty to sit down. And then taking the other like seat that he ripped out of it, he comes over and he just sort of sticks that in the back next to the fryer. And then he says, "Seats ready."
Uh, 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 are y'all
Well,
with me? Okay.
yeah, oh,
Okay.
absolutely. Ernest is fascinated with this Waffle House.
um,
Well, now
we
we
got.
need to get breakfast.
Oh, did we just have salad?
We can always have more breakfast. You can always
Okay.
have more breakfast.
Yeah, Hayden,
Oh,
if you've ever spent any time around me, you know that we have second breakfast.
We'll
that's
need
fair.
several pots of coffee.
We
And
don't have. He like tries to whisper to like Penelope. We don't have money for this.
she digs in her bag of holding and slams a couple of the gold coins from
Oh,
on the
the
table.
cursed gold.
And
Oh
she's
no.
like, and she just like flags down somebody who works there and is like, "Are these okay here?"
When you do this, a tiefling who is working over by the grills, um, gestures in the air, and the food continues to cook itself while they walk over, pick up the coin, look at it funny, bite it once, which feels extra sanitary and just in line with the Waffle House experience, and it says, "It's a good curse, it'll do," and then sets it back down like, "What do you want?
Um,
You
I
want a
am
menu?
gonna.
We got menus." The guy he like pulls out some prestidigitation menus and hands them over to you. They're actually
Oh,
only kind of sticky.
Oh, good.
Out of
Items.
curiosity, where did this Waffle House originate?
This one,
Yeah,
uh, this here Waffle House came off of Highway 17.
where?
Yeah, that's a good question. We don't really know where in Highway 17. When you go a certain distance down Highway 17, you don't know where you are, and then before you know it, there's a Waffle House. You enjoy your Waffle House if you're lucky, and then you move on. But without the Waffle House, now no one knows where they're at on Highway 17.
This is
But is that in America?
United States, America. Yep,
What part?
the
Highway 17.
the Highway 17 part.
But what
Do you
part of
want me to
Highway
get you a map, or do you want me to get you some hash browns?
What are those? I would.
They're
Okay.
potatoes.
Oh. I would
Um,
like a hash brown, please. Penelope, can I have a hash brown?
no. Yes. Um, you can have one. I don't care. All right. I'm gonna pay for whatever anybody wants for breakfast.
Annis is just reading the menu intently.
But don't order the whole menu.
She turns to Derek. Your culture is so fascinating.
This is a
So,
bit more south for me.
is this the
She
Tiefly?
turns to Johnny. Your culture is so fascinating.
Is
Yeah,
the
17
Tiefly?
runs through Georgia.
I had a feeling.
I would like to try the moons over my hammy.
Did you
I'm
actually
just
pull up
drinking
that?
water.
Isn't that a Denny's thing?
Yes,
Probably is. I'm so sorry. I don't eat at Waffle House. I haven't eaten at a Waffle House in like 20 years.
Fucking crying. The
I
competitor
mean,
just
it's
fucking
fair
bolts
for her
from the
to order that
sky.
regardless. It's just funny.
Here, let me look at the Waffle House menu quick. We can retcon that.
Like, as y'all are deciding, I just kind of like, have there been like, I don't know, like any new humanoids around, here that stopped by at all?
I mean,
Maybe within
people
like the
come and go
past.
every day.
Yeah,
Yeah, we got the
any
locals. We got some people where we know how to scramble it just right. We got some people who understand that all the way is probably too much, but they're still here for it, and we respect that. But beyond
any
that,
new
yeah, like you mean new people, just like straight up new
yeah,
people, newcomers. Like,
new
I mean,
people.
you guys are pretty new. I don't think I've seen you
Well,
before. It's like, been like weeks since I saw a centaur come in.
wait, what? Okay, cool. What about like right before us? Like any like, he's
You
just
mean
like,
like earlier
hold
this
on,
morning?
processing.
Why? Somebody take your
Uh,
money? You need it
yes.
back? Because if you don't have any money, then we're gonna have a problem. But I mean, I saw your coins good, so they didn't take
no,
all
we
your
got
money.
coins. I just was curious if like new faces. I'm kind of looking for like a friend right now. Yeah,
I
and he
mean,
starts
if you're looking for a
describing
certain kind of
peers.
friend, you're a little bit late. They come out at night.
He has no idea what that means. He describes
Oh my
peers.
god, don't be nasty.
He doesn't know. He's just like, yeah, it's like a guy could like come like this has come by at all. Like trying to meet up with my friend. Like I don't know here.
I mean,
I don't know what time
I haven't
period this
stepped
Waffle
in
House
here. I haven't seen any of that.
is.
But I mean, admittedly, I've only been on shift since about 2.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
2 a.m.? Oh,
I mean, it's 5 a.m. So
right. Is this a 24-hour establishment?
yes.
Well, of
Oh.
course, we only shut down in the event of Armageddon.
Your culture is so fascinating to Johnny again.
Yeah, they're usually how you can tell how bad things get. If they're closed, you should run.
Oh.
Good to know. Good to know. Well, that was his one question.
um. Okay. Well, I'll take 3 pots of coffee, and I don't mean like the little tiny pots.
We don't do the tiny pots here, ma'am.
I would like an entire gallon. No, 5 gallons of coffee.
It just comes out in a drum.
All right, I'll give you that, but on the condition that you make damn sure you get to the bathroom when you need to.
I'm an expert at drinking coffee, sir. I'll have
I'm
you
sure
know.
you are. I am confident in your ability to vibrate through the molecules of this here table once you've had 5 of these, and you do that, but just make sure that you don't leave a mess.
I promise that I will not leave a mess on behalf of my drinking coffee.
That is oddly particular, but we here at Waffle House are very particular about our messes, so I respect that. Be right back. And he
I
goes
love
back over where
coffee.
the the utensils are continuing to prep on the cooking surface on their own, and he gestures over towards a strange looking machine that begins to produce coffee and continues to produce coffee and is producing an unusual amount of coffee. And the coffee is continuing to fill a container that looks like a normal, like coffee pot mug. Like it's made of a material that looks like a coffee pot, but it's the size of a mug. And then he brings it over and he says, "All right, here you go." And as you look down into it, it looks deep. You seem to have
Ooh,
encountered a mug of holding.
Oh
is this
my
a
god.
bottomless coffee
I mean, it's not bottomless, but it's the amount you wanted. Just
mug?
try not to spill it. It'll
Okay.
spill for a while.
She's just gonna start chugging. Maybe not chugging, but like
It is very hot.
Right. And then can we just have a pot for the rest of the table?
Yeah, sure. He gestures over, and the machine continues to fill a separate container that pops into place. You're getting the impression that this is a world that's pretty comfortable using magecraft for very minor things. As it turns out, prestidigitation is really helpful when you're running a Waffle House.
That's gonna be the episode. We're spending the rest of the episode in this Waffle House. I can feel it.
I mean, it is kind of late, so probably.
Diana's looking over the menu and just going like, "This is there anything on this menu that doesn't sound like some form of torture?"
That depends entirely on what gets you off, ma'am.
We're not going
Potatoes
to go
always
in.
nice.
So since Moons Over My Hammy is a Denny's thing, we can retract that, and I will take whatever is your most popular item. Everything on the menu looks okay to me.
I mean, half of this sounds like hot garbage.
Potatoes.
And potatoes.
Well, the church has salads. And there's that hot dog vendor.
Look, I've already told Buck I am not touching that hot dog stand with a 5.5-foot pole. 10.5-foot. I'm not going near it. It's
It
gross.
is at this point that you realize you left Buck alone with the boat.
Oh shit.
I thought he came with us.
Yeah, I thought he came with us.
Well, he started to, and then no one was at the boat.
Oh.
I'll
So
bring
we
him
doubled back.
potatoes.
I can't believe Diana came in with us after all the fuss she was making.
I feel like I got dragged along.
Okay.
I don't actually know why I'm here. I would not willingly set foot in one of these establishments.
Well, your loss.
She's just like, all right, I'm going back to the boat. I can't handle this.
Ma'am, do you want eggs?
No.
Do you want
don't.
bacon?
No.
I
Would
do.
you like a cheeseburger?
No.
Ooh.
Would you like a steak?
Ooh.
No.
I would
you
like a steak.
Hash browns?
Ooh.
No.
Yes, I would like some hash browns.
Would you like a pickle on a paper towel?
No.
Yeah, no.
What do you eat?
That is my business.
I just can't help but notice that you seem to be grossly offended by my business, so I am very curious as to what it would take to win over one with such refined taste as yourself.
Do you have Belgian waffles sprinkled with powdered sugar and strawberries that have been cooked in a syrup made from sugar harvested from sugarcane in the most remote islands, seasoned with bits of vanilla and flecks of gold flake?
Did it not occur to you that at a Waffle House we would have every possible orientation of waffle?
It's not in front of me right now, so
On account of you're very bad at ordering food, it took us this long to find out what you wanted. Now, if you'll sit your cute little patootie down, I will go and get you your fancy gold flake waffle.
Diana just sits down.
Ennis looks to Penelope. Are you going to pay for that?
Yep.
Okay. Well,
He steps away and he brings you a very normal looking waffle. He says, 1 second. And then he takes out a metal serving tray, places it on the serving tray, places a lid over it, shakes it in front of you like it's some kind of mixed drink, and then picks it up, and what you order is there.
Oh my god.
Holy shit. He's gonna very cautiously take a bite.
It tastes good.
Beautiful.
My compliments to the chef. Damn.
We aim to please here at the Waffle House.
Sir, this is no longer a Waffle House, it is a Waffle Home.
That is what we look to hear.
That's kind of sad, I'm not gonna lie.
Not sure if you're having a good experience or not, but I'm glad you
I'm
enjoyed the
having
food.
a great experience, and I will be having a better experience once I have finished this waffle and retrieved my friend who we unintentionally left behind.
I'm sure he's fine.
I'll be even better when I can see my wife.
You have a wife?
That's a quiet ass table, damn.
Can I
You
get
have
a
a
bowl of
wife?
hash browns for my pet bird as well?
That is not a problem with us. You are welcome to do whatever you like with this food as long as it is decent.
Yeah, I was just waiting for his hash browns. But I
Yeah.
figured I was
Yeah.
rolling up and I figured he could.
Now that he's done his proper flexing to the pickiest eater at the table, your other food is coming out and it is all as ordered.
Did anyone else as strange as us come in here over the past few days, say after going into that big church that
Oh
you
yeah, there's all kinds of
remember?
strange people coming about. That church is pretty new though, so a lot of people just come by and are like, that wasn't there before, and like you'd think they'd
Hmm.
get used to it on account of you never know what's gonna pop up across the street, that kind of neighborhood. But yeah, there were some weird people wandering around here and there. There were a whole bunch of ladies came by looking like the one in their big stained glass mirror, like the
Hmm.
silvery white hair and whatnot.
Yeah,
Real
burns.
pretty, looked kind of the same. That's a little unnerving though.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
They did not stop by for food. I kind of got the impression that they were doing more of a Madeline walk in pairs and stuff, and then they went in, they did their business, and they moved on.
I don't think they eat anyway.
That is a damn shame.
Well, yeah, tried gathering more information on that, and that's what we get.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
And we eat breakfast, and then we pay, and then we leave.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Unless
right.
anyone else has any more questions for the...
No.
Okay.
No, they didn't give any information early.
Yeah.
I
We
mean,
got what we
admittedly, the
wanted.
Waffle House is probably not where you're going to find anyone if you're trying to find people from the Mages Association.
To be
Yeah,
fair, I
I
was
think
thinking it was
I didn't
like,
think anyone
hey,
was gonna
it's
go in, yeah.
human. It's probably comfort to see something humanoid, so they go there. But
Like,
Yeah,
it,
but
mages
they're
are going to
British.
act like Diana did.
Yeah, and also they're British.
oh yeah, that's fair.
Diana purposefully went out of her way to try and come up with something that he could not produce, and it did not work.
That's what you get. Well, now I know
Look,
that the cursed gold that I have a lot of actually is a good currency for
I
him.
found a
So
third-party class that makes food. I'm using it. It's a bard
Um,
subclass. They're like the College of Culinary.
I love that. I love
They
that so
they
much.
make food and the food has inspiration bonuses in it.
hmm.
And one of
Nice.
the weird quirky powers that they get is that when they make food, they can use like a reaction to teleport the food in front of someone. So that or they use their bonus action to teleport food in front of someone and that someone can use their reaction to eat it. It just floats in front of their mouth and they just like eat a floating cheeseburger and get a bonus. It's like
I
the
love that.
weirdest stuff, but it's super neat. And I'm like, I like that for NPCs. I don't know that I would use that for player characters, but I like that for NPCs.
I don't
Yeah.
know. It might not be too late for Derek. I don't know.
No.
All right. Is the garden something we could do real fast, or is that a whole
Well,
day?
just I'll give you the high level of it. So to the
Okay.
garden, like a open arboretum area, lots of plants here. Things noticeable to anyone with high enough nature check, but especially Annis, are that
Mm-hmm.
in addition to collecting buildings and other items that appear through here, someone has gone through a great deal of trouble to collect seeds from different time periods, different places, and they've set up an incredibly extensive arboretum with little labels and trees from like extinct trees, flowers that should not be able to all grow in the same conditions, but tiny bounded fields in each area are adjusting the climate in such ways that it can support the stuff. Like it's actually a fascinating natural approach. This is not like the weird stuff they were doing in Clock Tower Botany Department where they were artificially doing stuff. Like someone has shaped the world in this area to support all of these plants, and they are making sure they are getting exactly what they need to grow properly. This feels to you like an incredibly advanced druid grove that happens to
Mm-hmm.
be in the middle of a city.
Hmm. I think Hennis would ask around to see if the person in charge of the arboretum happens to be there.
Oh yeah, like checking around, you get directed, and eventually you go to an area where the person who's apparently running this stuff is a dryad.
Hmm.
The trees are being tended to by a tree, but in the case of this tree, this is a tree that has somehow managed to transplant themselves into a large floating pot, and they are floating around, tending to everything around them as
Oh,
a moving dryad.
I didn't immediately. It's just like, excuse me, excuse me. Well, you see, my daughter's sons are how?
You're cutting out.
You are
Oh
cutting out
no,
a lot.
hold on.
Yeah, Ennis goes to ask a question, and Aiden just bypasses her like, "Oh my
Wait.
god."
Hi, yes, hello. How do you do that? So you see, I have like 26 daughters and sons that are also dryads. How do you do that? Is that feasible?
Well, first a tree and another tree love each other very much,
Well,
and
they're
then
already.
the stamen and the pistil exchange pollen, and that is where more of us come from.
No, 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 no. I already have 26 dryad children. I'm asking
Then
about your
you
pot.
should
How?
know how that works.
Okay, yes, I do. I'm asking about the pot. How do you make the floating pot? How can I take my baby with me?
How do I move about?
Yes, your pot's floating.
That is an enchantment. The This is a very special pot that I enchanted when I decided that I wanted to see more of the world and save more of the plants within it.
He turns to Annis. He's like, "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt." He just like turns back to the dryad. I might need to ask for your help later, but let me just. And he just like pulls himself back. He's just like staring at this dryad. He's like, "I need 26 pots."
Okay, I see a lot of work for Kwaku in the future. That
Oh
was
yeah.
actually
I mean, you also know that there's a good chance that this will not work in the real world.
probably not. Good morning. Sorry about my friend. My name is Anis, and I am very, very, very interested in. And she just gestures to all around.
Ah, fellow green thumb.
Yes, I'm from the gestures upwards, the upworld.
Ah,
Um,
you're from
this
the
mana.
you're from the source realm. I understand. Did you come here in an incident, or did you travel here through other means? We've been
I
getting
traveled
strange
here.
travelers through other means of late.
I'm sure you have. I came here through other means. I did not come here instantly.
Ah, this is quite a journey. Well, I welcome you to this world that we call home now. This in particular is my personal paradise. I've been gathering seeds from a variety of plants and trees throughout the last several hundred years, and I have tried to cultivate everything I can to act as a living library of the potential. that we could all strive for if we live in harmony with the world around us.
Fascinating. I'm trying so hard not to get distracted by all of these plants that I've only ever heard of and never seen. I have several questions. If I bring you seeds or plants that you don't already have, um, or if I give you coins, would you be willing to trade some, not the whole plants, obviously, just pieces or seeds or
If
cuttings?
if you have seeds or plants that are unknown, or rather unpresent for me, then I would be happy to exchange because it would allow some of my plants to have another place. Like I do what I can to keep them alive here, but we're always one catastrophe away from extinction. And there's no telling when the next storm will bring replacements if anything were to happen.
That's a fair point.
Should a storm
Okay.
decide that this area becomes fertile ground for a volcanic eruption, that would be unfortunate for all of my children. So
Okay.
happy to work with
So,
another much more polite mage with an interest in nature.
I'm supposing that some more human mages have come to you recently demanding plants from you.
There were visitors to my arboretum recently who, yes, they, like you, seem to have come from the Source Realm, and they were very curious, but they saw with their hands, not with their eyes, which upset my plants, and I was forced to tell them to leave. They did not
Hmm.
appreciate that well, but, well, when hospitality is violated, hospitality no longer protects the violators, so I threw them in the river.
Oh, fantastic.
Do you know what they
Do
look
you-
like by
yeah,
chance?
I was just about to ask that. If you describe them, if I happen to encounter them, I'll, give them a good old 1-2, and she likes shadow boxes.
Well, they had 2 arms each,
Right? Yeah, that's what I figured.
2 legs, 1 head. Some had hair, others did not.
Hmm.
What color hair?
Oh yeah.
Uh,
It's very important.
he looks over like the group of you, and then he says, mm, I'm not sure. I'm colorblind.
Yeah. We're not getting any more information. I love it.
Um, did they have these things and points to Anna's face with the glasses, but like maybe square shaped instead of circle?
I did not see any with square-shaped circles,
Yeah, no regular circles.
but I did see that some of them wore he he holds his hands up over his eyes almost like he's doing peekaboo,
Okay.
and then
Like a
he
mask. Okay.
sort of closes his fists so that he has the shape of roughly sunglasses. He says,
Mm.
ones that you can't see through.
Hmm.
Oh.
Um,
That's
they seem
Harvesters.
to be blocking out the sun's rays, which is very unnecessary in this world that diffuses them so kindly for us. But
The harvesters had glasses like that. Like out of
yeah.
character. They had
Yeah.
the phantasmal reading that were sunglasses, yeah. Um
Mm. Hmm.
did mhm. Did one of them have like their hair pulled up like this and like Aiden like pulls up their hair and just like it was really long by chance?
there were several of them, and one of them had long hair.
Hmm.
Uh hmm.
Kind of
He's
helps
trying to
it
think
as
of more defining features of like the butcher right
I
now.
mean,
Oh,
he's like a fucking patchwork doll, but how to say that
yeah.
politely?
Well, he's got the tattoo, I think, running up the
Oh,
side of his neck.
that's true. He does have the tattoo.
Yeah. He's like, did they have like markings going up their neck?
I didn't see those.
Okay.
Hmm.
They were There were a variety of them. They all seemed to be very fragile, though. They were not well
That doesn't.
built as humanoids go. They seemed more accustomed to merchant work than land work.
Hmm. It was probably
Maybe.
botany, not the harvester.
Yeah. So they've got similar glasses too then.
Or it's just someone's wearing
Strange.
sunglasses.
Yeah, that's fair.
You get the impression that his
Much
opinions of them are
appreciated.
not very high.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Like the way
Yeah.
that he describes it, it sounds like he has more respect for people that will get their hands dirty and do the work themselves rather than people who will
Mm-hmm.
buy something or will like go in and mess with other people's hard work.
Yeah.
So I can trade this guy seeds and plants that he may not have. It's probably a pretty big place, so it's not like I can make a list of all the stuff he has.
You can't make a list, but we can say for later if you encounter something, you're like, I wonder if I have that. I'll let you know if you saw it. You,
I mean, he's probably got all of the basic plants that I have back at the base, like all the vegetables and
uh,
basic healing herbs, things like that.
Pretty likely. This seems like the kind of thing where if you encounter things that, like in the meta gaming sense, um,
Mm-hmm.
should you be going about and you see a storm occurring, it might be worth looking around for plants afterwards for anything that would be new to the realm that they're in now.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's stuff that's normal for you. If like this is the first time
Mm-hmm.
you see like a tomato, maybe they don't have tomatoes here.
Yeah, so can I do a quick look around just to see if it obviously missing any of the stuff I already have that
Yeah,
I
you
brought
could do
with
that.
me
You could just
before
do
I learned
a
the tomato?
depending on how much time you want to spend here, you can roll nature multiple times. Like we'll say for every like 30 minutes you want to spend looking at stuff, you can do a new nature check and then we'll see what you find.
All right. First one's a 14.
That one finds you most of the basic overlapping stuff. Nothing really stands out yet.
Okay. How are we doing on time? I know we were probably at the Waffle House for a while.
You're at the Waffle House for like maybe an hour. So
Okay.
I will advance the
6
clock.
to
So it
6:30.
was 5 a.m. when you got to the church. We'll just
Mm-hmm.
say that you were at the church for 30 minutes. You're at the Waffle House for an hour. So it's 7:30. You just did
So
a
8
look
with a
around,
half
so it's 8.
hour.
Okay. So yeah, Annis will just keep nerding out about these plants unless she is stopped.
Hey, Penelope. We might need to
Oh,
stop Annis.
she's got a
Yeah.
notebook out. She is writing down furiously, just like if she encounters anything she has never seen, she's writing it down.
Like,
Annis has found a lot of things that she's never seen, and so
Hmm.
far, most of the normal modern stuff has been present in one way or another, including some things that are modified a little bit, like the modern concept of banana versus like what bananas actually are,
Oh,
and stuff like
interesting.
that. Like he does have some newer things, which gives you the impression that like he really does just collect stuff that appears from
Hmm.
these storms when they happen. Like if a storm dropped a produce truck in front of him, he would be rating it even if it's the weirdest, most genetically modified nonsense. So, um,
Fascinating. It's both the extinct banana and then the more modern one. This is fascinating.
All right.
Penelope, we might need to start
I
dragging her.
I know.
Oh yes.
She's gonna put a hand on Annis's arm and be like, "All right, Annis, I'm going to put a time limit on this.
Oh, okay. How much longer?
You have 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I can give you 10 minutes.
Did you know that modern banana flavored things are
I'm
made with
aware.
that banana, but this is the banana we still have?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. 5 more
She,
minutes.
she's
Okay.
just she's gonna like lean over and just pat Annis on the arm gently. look her in the eyes and be like, nerd.
15 minutes? 15 minutes?
I will give you 10.
No, the dice tell the story. Yeah.
I'll give you 10 minutes, and that is all you get.
Like she's now remembering that they're here on a mission, and they have to get to the castle, and they're in grave peril, and she's like, right, okay, come back later.
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
I can come back later.
You can totally stay here and keep taking information on plants, but like, what would Grandpa say?
He would want to stay here. He would want to stay here. No, okay. Yes.
What would your mom say if you let the world in because you were being a nerd?
I'm so sorry. I forgot to ask your name.
Oh, my apologies. I did not do a proper introduction. Yes, my name is Greenleaf.
Oh. Greenleaf, the dryad.
This is Annis Greenleaf. Are you both related?
I would not think so.
You never know.
Seems unlikely.
Because dryads typically the offspring of trees.
I mean, we don't know.
As far as I'm aware,
like my children.
Trees cannot. And she just like makes a circle with one hand and puts her finger.
Yeah.
It is.
I'm just saying they're not compatible. You can't. Okay, I'll stop.
Oh my god.
Greenleaf, it was very nice to meet you. Hopefully I will be back soon with some plants that you don't have. I wish you luck in all of your endeavors. Thank you for giving me the time to look at your plants.
Like, this is where we find out that Annis is like 1/50th dryad.
Oh, I would, if only.
Wait.
Fucking hell.
Right,
let's go.
Really, really quick question. You didn't happen to see like a centaur like come through here, did you? That's not me.
I mean, it happens from time to time.
What direction do they go?
They live in the city like everyone else. They live wherever they choose to live.
There's more than one.
Yes, there are many.
He just starts bawling his eyes out. Okay, let's go finish this mission.
Oh, and I wanted to ask, as she's literally being dragged out, I wanted to ask how you do the mini bounded fields that control the temperature. It's so fascinating. Thank you so much. Oh, okay.
I reinforced the boxes.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. She's literally being dragged out.
Penelope's dragging Annis. Iden's dragging her too. He's crying. Penelope's the only one that's got her shit together. Annis is like, wait, one more question.
The rest of the party are all following along behind. Just like,
did you hear
what the fuck did we get ourselves into?
There's more centaurs.
Penelope's just like, look, I have to wake up a sleeping fairy. We don't have time.
I'm coming back though.
To deal with plans.
I'm coming back after we win the war.
We also have to deal.
We got a race
with this asshole who likes to steal things from other people and put them on himself.
Right.
Oh, I'm gonna fuck his day up.
Also, those bitches from botany. I'm gonna give them a good old 1-2 punch when I meet them.
We don't have time.
Right.
For you to nerd about plants and for you to cry about dryads and centaurs.
I'm gonna cry on the way.
Yeah, let's get on the boat. You can cry and I can just like as she's walking is still making notes in her notebook.
Iden's like, I can multitask. Let's go.
I took more notes in this session than I think I have in any other session.
Nerd!
I mean, for funsies.
And then Penelope, like, when they get back to the boat, Penelope's gonna be like, Buck! We're going!
All right.
We're moving!
Okay.
Well, don't we need Diana to make the boat go back upstream?
Yeah. You're right. And Diana's just gonna be like, I'm getting there. Yep, I'm ready. All right, let's go.
And Annis has parked herself, still making notes.
All right, so she just activates the greater invisible air again and just.
I'm gonna roll another nature just for funsies to see if I remember anything about any of the plants. In hindsight, I was like, watch that one be the 20, but no, okay.
No, that would have been
Just
fine.
for funsies, like I
For
said.
what it's worth, like in the time that you had there, you did not check off every possible thing that you could bring. So it's possible you do have some things, but you didn't get to look over everything.
And did I notice any like plants that I know to be ingredients for potions or spells that are impossible because the plants went extinct?
Yes. This kind of reminds you of
Cool.
when you were looking around some of the plants in
In Germany.
the Einsburn, but these ones are bigger, so to speak. Like the ones that they had were rare and kept very carefully cultivated on the ley line. These ones are things that probably could not exist. If you were to take these ingredients out of this place, they would probably shrivel up and die.
Did I happen to notice any little white flowers called moly?
You did not, but
Okay.
it's worth noting that that probably exists.
Yeah, it probably is somewhere in this world. Got it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm done. Like, Annis has parked herself and is still making notes. She is no external stimuli. Like, literally everyone could take off their clothes and run in front of her. She'd be like, that's good, that's great, cool, I'm still working with my plants. Put on your clothes. Where's Penelope to yell at you all for being nasty?
Hooray.
So Annis is just nose deep in her notebook. Aiden is just sobbing.
Diana is driving a boat while trying to strike up a conversation with Belle.
Yes.
So, what have you been doing today?
I decided to wander around this strange new city and see what I could learn.
What did you find anything fun?
I found
Interesting?
that the city does not make any sense because some parts of it have electricity, even though they are connected to nothing.
Huh.
Seems
Oh,
if
I
these
switched
things
from
would
the
have worked
connected
where they
button.
came from, they work here.
Huh. That's interesting. That's interesting. And I guess you spent time hanging around. Uh, oh my! I was like, did I come up with a name for him?
Oh.
But with invisible sparkle pants. I don't know.
You're really
I
working
can't
on
think.
this nickname game, aren't you?
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard. I don't know.
Is it easier than learning people's names?
Sometimes, yes.
That's fair.
Yeah.
No, I understand. I do the same thing. I tend to, if I don't know someone's name, I try to compliment them and then turn that into the way that I refer to them, and it seems endearing, but really it just covers for my bad memory.
I mean, that's fair too. I've also got kind of shit memory. Um, Thank you for taking care of me last night, by the way.
Oh, not a problem. You went through a lot getting there.
Yeah.
I could tell that not only were you tired, you had a passenger who probably did not fully appreciate what you went through while he took a nap in a bottle.
Yeah. Kind of rude of him.
It's a guy thing.
Yeah.
This trick that you're doing with the ship is certainly interesting. Did you learn this from a fairy of some sort?
Yes, actually. So not to brag or anything, and she says this like tossing a little bit of hair over her shoulder. She says, "But I'm an emissary of Nimue."
Oh, wow, that's very impressive.
Mhm.
There are not that many of those, as I understand it.
No, no, there really aren't.
You must be very close to her.
Oh yeah. I yeah.
How is she doing these days? The world's so
Uh,
chaotic, I wouldn't really know, but it seems like it's a lot to deal with.
she's she's very distracted.
Mm,
She's very busy. Like I've been busier as a result of her being busier, and
that sounds
it's
about
it's
right.
been a lot. Yeah.
She's never really one to take a break, is she?
Well, that and her job is understandably harder, especially with oh gosh, I hate to admit it, but especially with her sister not active, she's
That
kind of having to deal with everything as it pops up rather than deal with fewer things.
that does sound tiring.
And it seems like she tends to end up dealing with more and more and more each year that I've known her. So,
I believe it. The world is in an unstable place. I can't imagine she's having an easy time when there are creatures popping out of bubbles and creating havoc for her paladins.
yeah. And it's been harder to get her attention lately. Like the moments I do get, I consider those to be precious moments, but not like
Well,
the creepy collector dolls.
if you if you want to hold her attention, then you have to make sure she knows that you would like her attention because when we're busy, we tend to do as much as we think we can, and that means that we sometimes neglect what we should be doing because we think that we'll get more slack. We feel like someone else will understand that they know where we're coming from, and they might, but does mean that you neglect the people that are most important.
Yeah, uh, I do wonder if she thinks if I'm as important to her as she is to me sometimes.
That also sounds like an important conversation to have.
Yeah, I also feel like once I said that out loud, it seemed odd since I'm literally powering this boat with a trick that she taught me. Ugh. I've gotten myself into some complicated shit.
That is unfortunately life,
Yeah. Ugh.
but try to find little moments for yourself where you can. Don't let her having too much on her plate always overflow onto you. Take some time for yourself, even if it just helps you refresh enough to do a better job for her.
Yeah, that's fair. That's yeah.
Besides, I think you should
Hmm.
probably try a hot tub.
I mean, I'm not opposed.
I'm sure we could set one up.
Oh my god, that would be great.
Well, then, when we get back, I'm sure that people will want to rest at some point before they do whatever it is we're doing next. We'll get one set up.
Yeah, we'll get one set up if you wanna. I mean, you and I could test it out.
Of course. Fair warning, though, I don't have a suit. And then she goes down the
Oh, I
stairs
don't
and goes
either.
back in.
Wait, what?
And then she goes down the stairs and walks back in winking.
Gasp.
Don't be nasty.
All right, me. God, she's right though. She's right. Damn it.
And on that realization, it is late, so we're gonna call it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rest
Hey,
up, homies.
get some sleep, everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a long rest. Get your stuff back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I get to find out how drained we are.
Yeah.
How drained we are? Oh, right.
It's a stain.
Yeah.
There's a reason I tried to stick to
Yeah.
level 1
How
spells.
many like hit dice and how many spell levels we have to give up to
Right.
power the server.
Yeah, that thing I don't have to do.
We still haven't done that yet, so we don't know.
No. We'll take care of that at the start of the next one. I'm gonna
Mhm.
tell you, I'm not gonna be rolling on a table for you to boat back. You get back fine. It's daytime. You see things a little bit easier, but nothing really stands out. So next time we'll resume back at
There's
base.
obviously them.
So
Yay.
hooray.
Yay.
Although that will probably be in 2 weeks based on my work schedule. So yay. Enjoy your week off, everyone. Get some rest.
Woo.
Woohoo.
Rest up.
And
Yeah.
good night, friend internet. I'm sure you all expected a Waffle House episode.
Yep.
Heck yeah.
That was on my bingo card, surely.
Thank you for joining us in our waffle home.
The only Waffle House that will serve you moons over my hammy if you ask for it.
And whatever bougie stuff Diana wanted.
Her Food Network food.
Right. Her like Snapchat food, basically.
Yeah. All right. Well, good night, internet recording. Goodbye.
Good night.
Good night.
Ah.